Welcome to the 2022 Big Z Sports High School Football Preview Show, presented by Battle Motors, live from Sammy Sue's Barbecue in Dover. The Big Z Sports Show, driven by Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Tonight, the Big Z Sports team will preview the upcoming season and talk with area coaches and get you ready for the 2022 high school football season. Now, let's head to the Hertler's Quality Housing Mobile Studio, live from Sammy Sue's Barbecue.
Crew here as well for our kickoff to 2022 in the Big Z Sports Preview Show, and we will talk with area high school football coaches tonight about their teams and about their seasons coming up. Chris, I can't believe it, man. Year number, I believe, 9 for me, year number 8 for you. It seems like we were just sitting in Akron doing a state championship game for the Strasburg Lady Tigers, and here we are, football season already.
Yeah, where did the summer go, right? I mean, you know, normally me and Nick are used to watching racing right now, and that's winding down, and it's always good when football rolls around. That's what this area is predominantly, you know, kind of infected with, is football season. It's just fall around here is just like that Boys of Fall song that Kenny Chesney sings, right? It's what it's about around here. And, you know, so excited to do two-a-days. We got a lot of those out of the road and releasing those all the way up until our kickoff next week. But, you know, looking forward to sitting down with the coaches tonight and really getting into it. And, Nick, I mean, you know, what, your 4th year now, right, with us?
I think it is 4th year, and that's why I was going to say I was so excited, guys, to be doing this once again, is for the simple fact of when I came in here, you know, we had a certain crop of players. You got used to certain names. Now, 4 years into it, you're going to start seeing a lot of other guys who are going to be making their names for themselves, and I'm super excited to see that new crop of players, and, of course, you know, knowing a little bit more about some of these coaches, some of the systems that are going to be run. It's so exciting, and being able to sit down before our show goes on Fridays and breaking down what we think is going to happen. I mean, let's face it, guys, we're not right very often, but, you know, that's the fun of it.
What do you mean? Who's not right? You might not be. I'm always right.
Wait, who's back-to-back Pick'em's champion?
Well, you guys, we'll all do that week 1, then I'll see you in basketball.
Right.
I won't be in the studio.
And here's the deal, right? I believe, Joe, for the first time since Nick has been with us, this is the first normal year we've had. Nick was our bugaboo for the last 4 years.
Yeah, this is, I think, year 4, but 3rd full year, right?
Yes, 3rd full year.
Something like that, yeah.
But it's always been
something
going on,
sure.
right? Some kind of turmoil in our area or our world.
Well, don't make it seem like I'm the bad luck charm here.
and now Nick finally gets to experience his first normal season with Big Z Sports. I'm looking forward to it.
I don't even get to experience it very much.
And we're doing a ton of games this year and bringing them all in to your home.
Absolutely. Big thanks to Claxon Communications for that as well. We will be doing, guys, check this out. I'm not lying here. We have a game, play-by-play game, every week of the season. Every week. Week 1 is the only week we will not do a game on Friday night. Starting week 2 this year, we usually start at like week 3, week 4, and then skip a couple weeks and go. But, man, we have had great response from our sponsors and Claxon Communications and the area programs. They want Big Z Sports at their games. So guess what? We are doing games from week 1 on. Obviously not on Friday night of week 1. We're doing a Thursday night game, a Saturday night game, and then the next week, here we go. We roll them on Fridays. Yep. Friday, and all the way through the playoffs, and hopefully we end the first weekend in December. That's what my goal is.
In a couple Saturdays, maybe we'll sprinkle it in there throughout the year too.
Absolutely.
Is good for me and Nick to get our opportunity.
My
just
voice
in case,
may need you to
just in case something happens to where we need to step in on a Friday night. We can. God forbid nothing happens. But
look, that's never happened around here before that we need one of us other people to step in.
Nobody's voice ever breaks up during a broadcast.
Right.
Or goes out.
No.
Well, pregame,
or even during pregame. But we're excited about all this fun. We have a lot of our guys back. We have a lot of new coaches to talk about this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. And 2022. It's just going to be a whirlwind. It's going to be December before we know it, and then basketball, and then we roll into softball and baseball. But we are talking football here tonight on our Big Z Sports 2-a-days, and we talked to all the coaches in the area. Like Chris said, we will have those videos over the next couple of weeks of each team going to be posted every day. We've already put up like 3 or 4, I believe, and then we will put up more and more every day as we go all the way up to, I believe, Thursday, if I'm mistaken, or Wednesday. Wednesday, is it for the last 2-a-days episode? The Wednesday before?
Yeah, I think it's next Wednesday.
Tuesday, okay.
Tuesday.
So, we have all of our teams that we've done, and we'll post all those up. So make sure you're watching for those on our social media page. If you haven't liked us on social media, make sure you do so. Like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter at @big_Z Sports. You can find us on Instagram as well. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch this show live. So if you're driving around in your car and you want to say, man, what are these guys doing? Go to our YouTube channel. Or if you're at home,
don't watch us while driving.
Yeah, don't watch us while driving. But go home, prop your feet up, get your favorite beverage, and tune in to the area's best coverage of high school sports.
Just be aware we have faces for radio.
We do.
There's a reason for that. Casey decided, hey, it was okay to film us.
We haven't broken cameras yet, man.
Not yet.
I'm just glad you wore a hat. I didn't want the shine to come through.
Yeah, it would have glared some people in here.
Yeah, we are here at Sammy Sue's Barbecue like we were last year. We love this place. Awesome, awesome place. If you haven't been outside of their patio, what a great facility Sam has here, and what Sam has done outside here is just a great thing to to be outside. Last year we were inside because of the weather. If you remember, it was storming, ugly, 117 degrees outside, and the thunderstorms rolling in. Today it's about 117 degrees and 3,000% humidity, but we at least can be out here.
No, that's the problem, is it's only like 70-some degrees, but 3,000 humidity.
It feels like southern Florida right now in Ohio. So we are waiting for Chris to come over to talk to us, and we hopefully get Chris from Sammy Sue's. We're going to talk about Sammy Sue's, and we're going to talk about Sammy Sue's here in just a little bit. Yeah. Great hospitality.
Yeah, it's always great hospitality. And, the funny thing is again, I made the decision to go ahead and look through the menu, figure out what exactly I wanted.
And then it's not on the special menu.
Well, no, that's the thing. I knew exactly what I was going to get. Yeah. Well, somebody told me I was no longer a part of Big Z Sports if I didn't order.
Right.
Chris's favorite.
You have to order the outsider. That's just the way it works. Mine was phenomenal, I got to tell you. Like it always is. We're missing Sam. We get to welcome in my buddy Chris here. And, dude, tell you what you guys do here at Sammy Sue's, not just with the great food and hospitality that you provide, but what you do in the community in general, man, is so special. We appreciate what you do.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. That's where else would we want to be as we do our preview show and get ready?
Right,
nowhere.
Sammy Sue's.
Right here, baby.
I believe I would have to look back at the sponsor list, but I think Sammy's the longest running sponsor of our show.
Really?
So she was when me and Chris and Eric all started together back in 14 or 15. I think it might have been 15.
Yeah.
Sam was on, and that's you guys used to bring us food to the studio. And
it was right after you guys opened.
Yeah. So we appreciate what she's done, what she does for us, and you guys are awesome.
We'll keep doing it too.
My favorite part about whenever I'm told, we have food sponsors come in and we'll drop things off, and they say, hey, Sammy's is going to be in today. Oh, that's great. That means we're going to have enough to feed a small army. and we're by the end of the night, Chris and I are in the studio going,
oh. Now, Nick, you won't remember this, but when Sam started bringing food into us back in 15, 16, we always looked at the schedule, said, is everybody going to be here this week? And we planned it so we'd all be there for Sammy's when she would bring the food in. So we all looked forward to it, and we're like, well, bring it a little earlier so we can all devour it before we go in the air and we're miserable food coma.
Well, the key is, make everything in-house, make it from scratch. That's all you got to do.
Speaking of that, talk to us about what you do here at Sammy's, and you got a new kitchen and stuff over here.
We got a lot going on. So this past year, we built another kitchen to start pushing more of our caterings for weddings, corporate events, stuff like that. We've always done it, but, we're such a small kitchen that it took a lot on us, so we couldn't really advertise. So now we're going to push it, and we're going to be out there. We're going to do caterings, weddings, corporate events, anything that you guys need.
Sweet.
And for anybody listening, if you haven't been here and you haven't tried the food, it's going to be 100% worth it. You got to do it.
Missing out is what you're doing. But so you're talking, coming up in the spring, high school graduations, right?
Yeah, big time.
Christmas parties.
Yep.
That's awesome. I mean, I think it's great. And like you said, you guys do the catering stuff. You guys still doing the takeout as well, right?
Oh, yeah. We still do curbside, so you don't have to come in. All you got to do is call in. We'll give you a number, and then you just pull up to the curbside parking. We'll bring it out to you. So if you're still not wanting to come in and do the whole restaurant thing, we're still doing the curbside.
And you used to bring me out food whenever I come in, whenever you weren't open.
Yeah, that was chaos, wasn't it?
That was chaos, dude.
Wow.
This place was banging. I'm telling you
It took us a little while to figure that out, but we got it figured out.
Nobody was inside, but everybody was in the parking lots waiting on their food.
Yeah.
So obviously Tuesday nights, we know because we're here, it's wing night. One of my favorite nights of the week for you guys. Talk about your other specials throughout the week.
All right, so Tuesdays and Thursdays are definitely our wing nights. Everybody knows about those. We do our in-house smoked wings. You can get them smoked or fried. And then we have Wednesday is our Alfredo. We do our homemade Alfredo. It's unbelievable. Everything's made from scratch. You would never think a barbecue place would have Alfredo like we do. Then Friday, of course, fish, and then we rotate Saturdays.
Awesome.
Well,
we appreciate it. Thanks so much for what you do for us. Thanks for joining us. Hey, good luck on your fantasy football this year.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey. And take Joe Burrow if you can.
Well, I don't know about that.
Hey, listen, real quick. Tell everybody at home where they can contact Sammy Sue's number, social media, those sort of things.
Okay, so you can call us at 330-602-PORK, which is 7675, 330-602-7675. We're on 237 West Front Street on the corner of Dover, right on the corner of Front and Tusk. And you can go to us at SammySue'sBarbecue.net.
Awesome.
All right.
That's Chris from Sammy Sue's joining us here to talk about the great facility he has, the food and everything here. And he does a great job, and so does Sammy and her staff, Amy here, all the servers do a fantastic job here at Sammy Sue's. We're going to welcome in another quick guest, one of our sponsors this year for Big Z Sports, and of course our Battle Motors preview show here. They're also going to be the sponsor of our Wednesday show, our Extra Point show, the Battle Motors Extra Point show on Wednesday nights. So we welcome in Alicia from Battle Motors. Thanks so much for taking a couple minutes to talk to us about Battle Motors. So we were talking a little bit off camera and off the air before. Talk to us about what Battle Motors is. If somebody doesn't know, you've been around the area for a couple of years, but maybe somebody doesn't know what Battle Motors is. I didn't know. I'll be honest. I'll be very frank with you. I didn't know what it was until I talked to you. So tell us about Battle Motors.
So thank you, first of all, for having us here. Sure. We love opportunities to get involved in the community. So Battle Motors, we are located off of 250, and we were formerly Crane Carrier Company. So as you're driving down 250, you see all of that construction. Sure. That's us. Okay. So we have tripled the size of our facility. We are still doing what we did as Crane Carrier, where we are assembling trucks, CNG trucks, diesel trucks. The expansion is actually into our EV side. So we're actually assembling electric vehicles, and we have tripled our production footprint and our building footprint.
Awesome.
And our staff. So we are hiring like crazy, looking for people to fill these positions and assemble these vehicles.
For sure. So they could actually come and see you about that tonight, right?
Right.
Absolutely. We are over here at Sammy Sue's, and we are doing giveaways. We have company merchandise available, and we are also giving away Sammy Sue's gift cards.
Dude.
We have $10 gift cards available to the first 15 people who stop in. Apply on our website.
You've had yours already.
First 3 are right here. We're right here. We're good. So what you got to do is walk in, come out to the patio, walk up to the Battles Motors girls, and say, hey, we want our free gift certificate. First 15 people, you're going to get a gift certificate to Sammy Sue's. How can you beat that?
Absolutely. And we have the computers and everything is here for you, and we're here to walk you through it and help you find where you fit in best with our team.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
And so you said you're working on like electric vehicles, so something of the future, obviously. There's some electric cars, and that's becoming more prominent now in the world as we're trying to go to clean energy, whatever the country wants to do. But, you're going to electric vehicles. Obviously, everybody knows of like the Tesla and stuff like that. So talk to us about, the positions maybe that you're looking for at Battle Motors and what people would be doing.
So what we would be doing, we're not actually manufacturing these from, bolt and nut and everything.
Sure.
We're actually we are assembling them. We are putting them together and putting them on the road. So they're going through that process in our plant. You maybe have seen even our electric vehicles as they've been out on our test drives. They are dead silent. It is really crazy how efficient they are, how quiet they are. And we're rolling them out every day.
Awesome.
And I'm really happy you mentioned the quiet aspect of that, though, because I was actually following one the other day on the way to the station, and I could not hear a single thing at all. It was amazing. Normally you're used to being behind a big diesel truck.
You smell exhaust. Yep.
Nothing. Quiet as could be. You could never guess that was right in front of you. It's impressive.
It is. It is so cool. And it is so cool to be a part of something like that where, that's the future. That's where we're going, and you can be a part of it too.
And tell us how else we can get a hold of Battle Motors, on other things, social media platforms, website, those sort of things.
Oh yeah, we are very strong on Facebook right now. You can follow us on Facebook, Battle Motors, LinkedIn, and also you can apply online from home on our careers page, battlemotors.com/careers, and see all of the positions we have open. We have over 30 different openings right now, and even more positions available in each opening.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being a sponsor. We can't do this without sponsors like you guys and what we do here at Big Z Sports. And make sure you tell everybody down there to give us a like on Facebook, on social media, follow us up. And I think they're going to like what we do in the fall for high school football. And it's a team effort. We have a bunch of guys. There's a few guys that aren't even here tonight, but we have several guys that go out. And there's guys in the studio and all kinds of good stuff that we do. So thanks so much for sponsoring us, allowing us to do this, because if it wasn't for sponsors like you guys, we couldn't do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us, and we're looking forward to all of the fall events and fall sports as well.
Absolutely. That's a look at our two sponsors here tonight, Sammy Sue's Barbecue and Battle Motors. We're going to take a quick break, come back with our first coach. You're listening to the Big Z Sports and the Battle Motors preview show right here on Z Country 99.9.
How does a new career in an extremely high-demand field sound to you? Well, the former Crane Carrier Company in New Philadelphia is now Battle Motors. Battle Motors is expanding rapidly for their all-new heavy-duty electric truck production. Battle Motors has immediate openings for assemblers, electrical technicians, painters, blasters, as well as numerous engineering and design positions. If you're interested in a great career opportunity, apply online at battlemotors.com/careers.
Hi, I'm Zach Motice with the Tuscarawas Insurance Agency. For all your auto, home, farm, and business insurance needs, contact our team at the Tuscarawas Insurance Agency or stop in and see us at one of our 3 locations in Sugar Creek, Strasburg, and downtown New Philadelphia, providing excellent service to the Tuscarawas Valley since 1885. Everyone here at the Tuscarawas Insurance Agency would like to wish all area athletes and teams good luck this fall.
We're the propane team your mother warned you about. We are on top of our propane game this season, experts in making the switch easy. TMK supports area schools as a partner with Big Z Sports WTUZ. We take great pride in being a part of your community.
All the way with TMK, service with a personal touch.
This is RJ Jacobs from DAC Vitamins and Minerals. Did you know that DAC Vitamins and Minerals has more than 40 proven equine supplements that include daily multivitamins, joint, digestion, reproduction and fertility, calming, and many other specialty products, DAC also carries a complete line of livestock products called DAC Show Contender. Feed DAC vitamins and minerals to get the competitive edge in the show pen. We've been feeding champions since 1983.
When struggles seem too tough, when sickness takes a hold, when cancer picks a fight, when baby's on its way, when life throws you a curveball, we've got you. With nearly 130 years in your backyard, Altman knows you and knows your community better than anyone. We're your neighbors, your friends, your family, and we want you to be the healthiest you can be. Altman, we are ready. We've got you.
And we welcome in Jason Wallach, the Garraway head football coach. And, Coach, here you are, season number 22. You're a little over a week away from kicking it off for real. The scrimmages are almost done. The two-a-days are finished. How was camp, and how'd you guys come out?
Good. We've had a good camp. I thought we had a really good off season, starting back in December. And then, our camp days, Coach Slusser and I were just talking, our camp days are probably worse than our two-a-days anymore. We try to front-load everything. That way we get our legs back underneath us, so we're ready to go week one. But it's been good. Energy, enthusiasm, and work ethic, and all those good things. It's been pretty good so far.
And Coach, 22 years, as Joe mentioned there. Now you're a week away from starting off another season. Does that anxiousness ever go away, or the excitement, or you still feel the same way as you did on day one?
If it does, then I need to quit doing what I'm doing. Every year brings something new kids, new schedules. New problems, new issues, just like everybody else. But it's you get excited, and like I said, you put so much time into the off season, to prepare for the season that it's exciting. Sure.
Well, Coach,
if it wasn't exciting, I wouldn't do it.
No, I agree with you, and it also means, like you'd said on the two-a-days, right? It means we're getting old. That's what it means.
Yeah.
We ain't getting no younger.
You're not
Coach.
as old as I am. You're pretty darn close.
A year behind you.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's all right.
But no, Coach. You alluded to last year. And we're just going to turn that page and not talk about last year. We talked about it on our two-a-days. I want to get right into this year. You talked about scrimmages with Joe a few minutes ago, but taking a look next week at kicking things off on Saturday down at Bel Air. Talk about that game, how your prep has been. I know that is the focus, one game at a time, 1 week at a time for the Garraway Pirates.
Yeah, Bel Air's, they're going to be Bel Air. They're big and physical. Got some really nice athletes. From a very good football team last year. So, the focus has been on them. It's down there Saturday afternoon, so, it's a little bit different than normal. But as I said earlier, it's nice to have them week one, so you're not into that routine yet, that Friday night routine. So, be like another scrimmage, so to speak.
Sure.
Obviously, it's going to be a very good competition. Right. I'm not disrespecting Bel Air. It's just,
no, absolutely.
It's not another Friday night. So, we're excited about, going down there and kicking the season off and hopefully some of that hard work in the offseason has paid off.
Coach, looking at your schedule, Chris started off with Bel Air. If you look at it, 7 teams that are on your schedule were in the playoffs last year. Is this the most competitive schedule that Garraway's had in a long time? Yeah,
I'd probably say so. Every year it gets harder and harder to find teams, to match up, whether it's a home or away game or certain weeks, now we're, with the crossover, now you're looking for a week 4 game, so we pick up Carrollton, quite a bit bigger school, playoffs last year, really good football team again. I'm sure. Listen, we play in a really good league that has had multiple teams in the playoffs, Sandy Valley, Ridgewood, Indian Valley,
Malvern's been there.
Malvern.
Yeah. TCC has been at times.
TCC at times, yeah. So our league, we're normally playing, 4 or 5 teams that have made the playoffs. This year, 7 teams is probably the most, but, we're looking forward to it. We just got to stay healthy throughout the process.
Is that something that you feel like makes your team better as you go? If you're going to play against teams that are playoff tested and you put your team up against that competition, that alludes to making teams better, correct?
Yeah, it does. It's twofold, I guess, because you got to watch. Obviously, you're not playing Division II and Division I perennial playoff teams. Sure. And again, I honestly believe this. I honestly believe that our league prepares us for the playoffs. When you're, Ridgewood every year, Indian Valley every year, when you're playing those teams every year. We've played Indian Valley, I believe, ever since I've been here. I think might have been a year or two that we didn't play them. So I think those types of games prepare you. Now, you're still going to run into your Ursulines like we did in whatever year that was, 2012. And you don't see that speed until you really, compete against a team like that. But that was a special team anyway. But that's besides the point. But it does. But it's a catch-22 because you got to watch. We're still a Division V football team, a very small Division V football team. We're fortunate to have 60 kids on our team, but you're always, one or two players away from, being a 5-5 team. So just gotta be careful.
Realistically, you could be Division VI.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, we could be. I mean, yeah. I mean, we're the smallest Division V school. I mean, we're right on the cutoff, but it's all right. You know what? That's where we're at, and we play Division 5-4 schedule anyway. I mean, Carrollton's 4 or 3, and you got Indian Valley that's 4. Yeah. I mean, so we play quite a bit bigger schools anyway. So yeah.
Now, you mentioned your player numbers and such, but I'm going down through this list of returners, and most of the time I usually expect to see more key losses than key returners just because, graduation.
Not really.
This is ridiculous, the kind of players that you guys got back. I know we mentioned about it last year about you guys only having a handful of seniors. You're going to have a lot returning. How much of a luxury is that as the head coach of this team to know that you've got these players with that experience coming in?
I mean, honestly, we could probably go out. We probably could have went out the first day of camp and ran a no-huddle offense and ran half our stuff just from the experience that we had back. But, when you only have 6 seniors last year graduating, then you're obviously going to have a lot of kids coming back. But we've got some kids that we've moved around a little bit and, still back, but, maybe playing new positions. So, they've adapted pretty well from our first scrimmage anyway, from what we've seen. So, we're trying to platoon as many guys as we can. We really believe we can platoon 10 or 11, all 11 kids. And the more guys we can get on the field, the more game experience, So we might have a couple sophomores out there that, at times we may have more seniors out there.
Right.
We feel fortunate that we have the flexibility to be able to play multiple kids, a lot of kids. So.
And if you look at the key lost kids that you had, the 4 that really stand out to me, Sam Page, J.D. Young, Braden Adams, and Keller. Adams and Keller were on your offensive line. Young was a defensive end. Sam Page was your middle linebacker. So you replaced those 4 kids. Your other seniors are very important as well, don't get me wrong, but those are the 4 main kids that you're replacing. And you look at the offense and the defense, what you guys did as a team last year, that's pretty impressive to have, 18 starters back?
Yeah. I mean, we've got 9 on defense and 8 back on offense. It's fortunate. We're fortunate. I mean, we're lucky. It's just one of those years. But I just, again, I was talking to Coach over there, and we feel very, comfortable with the future of our program as well. I mean, we've got, a nice junior class. I think there's 17 or 18 juniors this year, 16 or 17 sophomores, 20 freshmen. So, I mean, it's not, the cupboard's not bare.
Right.
We're not going to have 18 returning starters every single year, but we're in a good position. I would sit up here and lie if I said we're not in a good position. Now I'm not going to say we're going to be 10-0 this year. We're not going to be 10-0 next year. I mean, but we're going to be competitive. And we're excited, but we're humble too.
Well, and Coach, that's all about building a program, right? You have your kids. As long as you've been at Garraway, you've got your kids from top to bottom, elementary school up to seniors, in the community, and all the parents. They've all bought in. They're all bought in on Garraway Pirate football. That's why the cupboard is not bare. That is why you don't rebuild, you just reload. You just restack kids and move on because of the program that you've built. And that's just being honest. You and your staff and your administration have just done an outstanding job.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm very fortunate to have an unbelievable coaching staff Joe, you've been out to multiple practices. You see, I don't do a whole lot anymore. I'm just kind of.
You were yelling a lot the other day.
I was yelling, yeah, but I was a little upset. So you know what? When I'm sitting back and watching things and I don't like things, then obviously I got to speak up.
I've been on the other side of that yelling. It's not fun. It's not fun.
But I'm fortunate to have an unbelievable staff that's been with me for a long time. I think Chad, my brother's the only. I think it's been 4 years. This is his 4th year. He's probably the youngest. Tenure on staff. Coach Miller has been here, I think, 4 or 5. I think this is his 5th year. Our youngest coach. Coach Elmore's been with me forever. Coach Yasik Coach Gerber's been, I think, 16, 17 years. I mean, Coach Shutt's been with me on and off for years. Terry Corder comes out and still runs our scout teams, and I mean,
your dad's out there doing things.
Dad comes out and does things. I mean, but it starts with those guys and their commitment and dedication to the program. The community, unbelievable support. I know we talk about that every year, but Chris,
that's where it starts.
You do, and we hold our youth camp every year the first week after, or the week after July 4th, and we had 135 or 137 kids out there for youth camp. I mean,
yeah, that's where it starts.
It's fun. Coach. It is. It's fun. I'm
we grew
blessed,
up at those camps, right?
Yeah, we did.
But that's what happened.
Sure.
We grew up through that, and that's how you build programs, and that's what this area does so well, is they build programs. It's not just grabbing a kid a freshman in high school and teaching them how to block and how to shed a block or to rush a passer. That stuff's taught in youth camps way young,
right.
And that's the difference.
And our kids run it. So our kids get involved with it. So it's special. And every year we ask our kids, how many of you guys have been through youth camp? How many of you guys have been through this? And it's amazing to see how many of those guys. And I told you I hate mentioning the names because I know it just hit me. I didn't mention Coach West.
Coach West.
Listen, we give up 5.5 points a game last year in the regular season. That guy works a 40-hour job away from. He's about the only guy not on staff. Might be the only guy on staff that's not in the school system or teaches at a school. And that guy's dedication and commitments.
I was at the scrimmage Saturday, and I was talking to him after the scrimmage. You guys were after the huddle and stuff, and I was sitting there. I was like, so I'm not good with X's and O's. I'm not an X and O's person. I just talk about what I see. So he was running me through like blocking schemes and what I'm like, dude, that is incredible. He took 10 minutes just to go and talk to me about that stuff, and he has a great mind, man.
He's
I think
phenomenal.
Yeah. So, Coach, we will let you go. Thanks so much. I know you got to get somewhere, but week number 1 coming up on a Saturday. We'll see you on the river here in about 10 or 11 days.
Perfect. Appreciate you guys having us.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
That's Jason Wallach, Gearway head football coach, joining us here on our Big Z Sports and Battle Motors preview show. We'll be back after this quick timeout. You're listening to Big Z Sports right here on Z Country 99.9.
Tailgating season is here, so why not do it in style with a new car, truck, or SUV from Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Dover. Choose a winning game plan when you bring your trade and ask about great financing options on any car, truck, or SUV on the lot. Joel and the Parkway CDJR team will help you shop and find the best deal for you. No hassle and no stress. Football season is the perfect time for a great deal, so pick a winner at Parkway Dodge Jeep Ram in Dover today. Your way, the right way. Visit Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.com and drive forward.
The First National Bank of Denison appreciates the hard work and dedication area athletes exhibit to be the best they can be for their team. We follow that same philosophy with our customers, working hard to build personal relationships and making our services convenient. The First National Bank of Denison's community involvement is important to us, and we love supporting our local schools. The First National Bank of Denison, with offices in Denison, Dover, Jeanette and Hutton, South Broadway, and Schunbrunn in New Philadelphia. We have our roots where others have their branches. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Jordan Hertler. At Hertler's Quality Housing, our goal is to help customers achieve the dream of home ownership. We have been a family-owned, affordable housing business for over 40 years. We value our customers and have the knowledge and experience to help you walk through the home buying process from start to finish.
Conveniently located just off I-77 in New Philadelphia, stop by and browse their model homes or learn more by visiting Hertlers.com. Wood Electric has been trusted with all of your electrical needs for over 30 years. They are the place to call for residential, commercial, and industrial work. Wood Electric is available 24 hours a day and ready to help with any electrical problem, outage, or installation. Wood Electric, serving Tuscarawas County and beyond since 1988. Like Wood Electric on Facebook or find them online at woodelectric.net.
Hi, this is Phil with the Ford Parkway Quick Lane Service. When the vehicle that transports your team needs maintenance, you expect it to be done accurately and quickly so you can get back on the road. Don't get sidelined by your vehicle. When it comes to servicing your team's vehicle, let my all-star team at Parkway deliver you the winning combination to keep you on the road and safe for the long haul.
Sports on 99.9 WTUZ.
Welcome back into the Big Z Sports and Battle Motors preview show live from Sammy Sue's Barbecue. Joe Geckler, Chris Cale, Nick McWilliams, Shannon Thomas, Travis McClellan, Adam Soweski, Ryan McClellan, a whole host of people here today, as well as the Claxon Communications crew, Greg Perkins behind the camera, Casey Claxon, and Lydia Brady over there running the controls like she always does for Big Z Sports.
LB doing a good job down there.
We appreciate you, Lydia. She does a great job for us.
It's literally half of Tuscarawas County I think we've got around here right now.
We went from a staff of 3 to a staff of like 300, and it's like we have so many people in the last 8 years, Chris, you can say,
Dude, we started in a little corner studio with 3 people.
We could tell some funny stories, man.
Man, people do not understand where we came from. Started from the bottom, now we're here. That song holds true to Big Z Sports.
Moving on from that.
We're going to welcome in our next coach and welcome in Dirk Gad, the head football coach from the Newcomerstown Trojans, a former Big Z Sports Coach of the Year. And, Coach, I know you have a busy week. You made plans and you got your guys at camp and you made arrangements to get here. That means the world to us, and we appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you guys having me. I'm glad to be here.
So I'm going to start the interview off. So any Newcomerstown fans watching or listening, listen to this breaking news that we have here.
Breaking news.
Coach doesn't even know this yet, and I'm going to tell him on the air. Newcomerstown is celebrating 100 years of football this year, right?
That's correct.
Somebody told me that a week or so ago at some two-a-day that we did.
Yes, sir.
And we as Big Z Sports made a commitment, and we said, you know what? We're going to do this right by Newcomerstown. Week number 2, play-by-play from the Newcomerstown Trojans game against Bellsville. We're going to be there.
That's awesome. We have a lot of activities planned for that night. I know that. I know we're inviting back a lot of alumni, a lot of
That's awesome.
past football players. We're going to recognize some teams, some undefeated teams we've had. Place should be packed, and it's great that you guys are going to be there and give us some coverage there. And I think you guys, it's going to be a great environment.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited for you guys to do that. Can't wait to see all the pictures and how this goes. But the live stream will be down there.
Yep.
It's going to be awesome, man. We're going to do it right. We start off, other than our first official games on Friday nights, we start out in Newcomerstown
Yes, we do.
for their 100th year of football.
Yep.
How cool is that?
It is awesome. I'm excited. When we decided to do it, Adam and I were talking, and he's like, let's do this. He's like, you think we should? He's like, let's do this. That's 100 years. That's the game they're celebrating. Let's be there for them. And they've been loyal to us, and Coach Gad's been awesome to us, even through the thin years, Coach. And, even we stuck by each other, and, we got the support of Newcomerstown, and you guys are doing good things down there.
No, you guys have done a lot for our community and our kids, and I appreciate it. And, these thin years, they're going to come to an end here sooner than later. So
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate you guys sticking with this, and we got a good group of kids this year, and I'm excited about what's to come here.
Now, Coach, obviously the real exciting news out of the way. Now we got to talk about the little bit tougher stuff in terms of that full schedule that we got to look, because, full 10-week schedule. Some names on there that you guys did not play last year. Obviously, that game we just mentioned, Bellsville coming in, did not play him last year. Sciotaville, and actually those are the only 2 that I see that you didn't play last year. So
but
tell
some
me
canceled games
but
as
some
well.
canceled,
Yeah.
correct. So
Correct.
tell me a little bit about what you guys are thinking in terms of when you got this full list and you knew what you were going to be going up against for 10 weeks. There's some names that we know are going to be tough on there.
Right, and I talked with you guys earlier. I think the main thing is we need to get better game to game this year. We definitely have teams that we can compete with on our schedule. Our success is going to depend on how much better we get from our first game to our second game and so forth. I don't know a lot about Sciotaville East, our game 4. They're coming from Portsmouth. That's quite a haul.
A long trip.
That's
we
quite
went to
a haul.
Ironton a couple years ago, and I thought it took us a week to get there. And
No,
I'm
it
like,
didn't. I was driving.
well, that's on home. We got home in an hour and a half.
Hour and a half from Ironton.
It's a long drive on a bus. I can tell you that.
Yes, it is.
And we've scrimmaged Bellsville in the past. They have a new coach since we have played them in the past, so I don't know a whole lot about Bellsville. I know we're looking forward to getting started this season. And our IVC schedule is always tough. That's just how the IVC is.
It's just a given, yeah.
So.
You know what's great about going down week 2? We don't have to. We can be homers. because the other team they're playing, we don't care about that team. We care about I'm going to wear my orange and black Bengals hat. I'm going to rock it out and support the Newcomerstown Trojans that night, week 2. I will be a homer, and I'll be all jacked up.
I could not wait to hear you on the first Trojan touchdown. Oh, my goodness.
It's going to be amazing.
I hope there's a lot of them.
Me too.
Well, speaking of that, Coach, you lost one of the staples in your backfield last year, Trenton Newkirk, due to graduation, but you return a really good group and a lot of youngsters that have experience, right? When you go down through, you look at Bunk Millender. You know you can put that kid at the quarterback position, running back. Heck, you can put him at fullback. Wherever you want to put him on defense, you can use him wherever you need to use his athleticism, right? You also have Clayton Fish, who's going to probably get the nod at quarterback, and Austin Smith, who's competing for that job with him. How have those quarterback battles went between those three? Because I know those three are all going to see time probably at some point in time during the season.
Yeah, and, even though it is somewhat of a competition there, Bunk's, he's going to be a tailback for us, so he's going to be out of the equation as far as the QB part goes.
So no Wildcat with him?
Well, that might be in
He's not spoiling anything for you,
trying
man.
not to give everything away here. I don't want to give it all away at once.
I got you, bud.
That's something that, we've definitely thought about.
Yeah, no, I got you.
But, Austin and Clayton, they'll both get a chance. And, our next scrimmage is going to tell us a lot about, who that nod's going to go to. Both great kids. Do everything you ask. I've never heard them ever make a negative comment. Yes, sir, anytime you talk to either of those kids. So, and they both are very athletic. We started 4 freshmen last year, so even though we have some young kids coming up, they have varsity football experience.
Yes.
And Austin's new this year. He didn't come out his freshman year, but he's out this year. And Clayton, he didn't start at quarterback this year, but it's something that he's played, since junior high on up. So they both know what they're doing back there, and we'll see what happens.
This is a little inside joke between us. Has that one kid figured it out yet?
You know what that's about, right?
Well, yeah, I think they are figuring it out. There's a couple of them.
Yeah.
They're figuring it out.
I can promise you that if I played for Coach Gad, I would probably be where I'm supposed to be at all times. Because if not,
it's a perfect example.
It's a long practice.
Yes, it is.
The kids, this group of kids have been really good about that. Every now and then you get a little hiccup along the road, and you have to remind them. And, and I think the reminder lasts for quite a while.
We all had to be reminded when we were teenagers about certain things, right?
That's right.
I mean, it's just the way it is. Coach, you also bring back some depth on defense, too. You bring back Newkirk, who led your team in interceptions last year. Also will play some offensive stuff for you. Brandon Weber in the backfield. Talk about some of the other kids that are stepping up. Carter McConnell, another one.
Yeah, Carter's a really hard-nosed kid. He's going to move from outside linebacker to inside linebacker for us. Has a nose for the football, plays downhill. Just a tough kid. Another one of those kids that does anything you ask him. I could tell him to run through a brick wall. Carter'd run through the brick wall.
Nice.
Just a great kid, and he looks the part of inside linebacker, and he has that inside linebacker mentality. Bunk, he's back. He's explosive. He's gonna play outside linebacker for us, so we're going to get him in the mix a little bit more rather than in the secondary. You got Brandon Weber. He's coming back. He's gonna play defensive end for us, and he's going to run the football. He's actually going to be our 4-back, which is our primary back. He's a senior, one of our few seniors, has a lot of experience, and he runs the ball hard. We also have some guys up front. I actually moved. I'm now coaching offensive line, which is something I thought I would never do.
You're about the size of a kicker, though, Coach.
Ouch. I mean, you could have said, slot or something.
When we were out there the other day at practice, he was playing quarterback. Dude could throw it on a line.
Yeah,
man.
I believe it.
You could hang a week's worth of laundry on his line drives. I mean, he was just like...
So I said he was throwing those throwbacks. I was like, are you starting a quarterback, Coach? What are you doing?
And I hadn't even warmed my arm up. But I moved to offensive line this year, and we have some guys up front that got experience last year. Spencer Ebersball, he's a big, tough kid. He's going to move people up there on the offensive line for us this year. Just he's another one of those kids. I say over and over, great kids. We have a group of great kids this year. Easy to coach, fun to coach, and it makes my job easy when it's like that.
And looking forward to this season, I know you guys have to be, just for the simple fact, we know what happened last year with games getting canceled and having some problems with that, but how much of a buzz and excitement do you think there is right now in your locker room?
The kids are excited. We don't even use that bad C word that has doomed us in the past. There is a buzz, and right now we're out at Camp Zimmerman, and we're doing a team camp out there, and we've been doing some team building activities, and this group really enjoys being around each other. So there is an excited buzz in the locker room, and the kids know how athletic they are.
Yeah.
So they're ready to get after it.
So did you do what I recommended about playing Remember the Titans when you went up there?
And the funny part is we're out there, and every now and then we didn't do, it's not Remember the Titans style, but every now and then I got a couple guys will be a right side. They'll get, they yell it out, so they definitely, have that in the back of their mind.
And so the viewers and listeners know, Coach took his kids out the last week or so. They're there now, out to a camp, kind of secluded from everybody, and it's just them to do some team building and bonding, and I think that is invaluable stuff that they're going to get out there. And my hat's off to you, Coach, and what you're doing at Newcomerstown. Kids are buying into this program, and it's turning around. You can see it each and every year that is you've progressed, and my hat's off to you.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, we have an awesome group of kids. This group of kids we've had has been successful in the past as they're on their way up through junior high. Our sophomores were undefeated in junior high. So that tells you how athletic they are and the talent they have. And our time is coming, and I feel like our time might be this year.
Good.
Well, Coach, we are excited to be there week 2. We can't wait to see you experience a game at Newcomerstown, and we wish you nothing but the best. We'll see you here in a couple of weeks, and good luck in the rest of the season, but we'll see you week 2, and it's going to be a fun celebration.
And I appreciate it, and hopefully our community comes out. I know they will. They always come out for that week 2 game, and you guys can celebrate with us.
Awesome, absolutely. That's Dirk Gad, head football coach from the Newcomerstown Trojans, joining us here on our Big Z Sports and Battle Motors preview show. Back after this with a quick timeout. You're listening to Big Z Sports right here on Z Country 99.9.
How does a new career in an extremely high-demand field sound to you? Well, the former Crane Carrier Company in New Philadelphia is now Battle Motors. Battle Motors is expanding rapidly for their all-new heavy-duty electric truck production. Battle Motors has immediate openings for assemblers, electrical technicians, painters, blasters, as well as numerous engineering and design positions. If you're interested in a great career opportunity, apply online at battlemotors.com/careers.
The Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Tuscarawas and Carroll Counties is an agency established for the purpose of planning, funding, monitoring, and evaluating contracted mental health, alcohol, and drug treatment services. Services across 4 local agencies are available for county residents regardless of ability to pay. Mental health and physical health are connected, and taking care of both is a requirement for your well-being. Go to adamhtc.org for more information. Adams Board, supporting your journey to wellness.
Planning your next vacation or home improvement project and worried about managing expenses? CSB can help with that. Setting a goal is the first step to achieving your vision, and CSB's Money Manager tool helps you get started. Whether you are recovering from Christmas spending or preparing to send kids to college, the Personal Financial Management tool helps you set goals, track your spending, and monitor your progress. Money Manager is available within CSB's online banking. Check it out today. The Commercial and Savings Bank, member FDIC.
Dino Piergolini & Sons Equipment Incorporated is your one-stop shop for all your equipment needs. Offering the option to buy, rent, sell, or trade equipment is what separates Dino Rents from everyone else. With pickup and delivery or even field service available in their service department, Dino Rents can handle repairs needed for any make or model. Dino Piergolini & Sons Equipment is located just past Midvale Speedway and can be found on Facebook or contacted at 330-364-8055. Also offering a location in Caddis to better serve you.
does. Mary does a great job for us.
Absolutely. We're going to welcome in the Ridgewood Generals head football coach, John Slusser. Coach, you're number 18 as head coach. You're number 30 as a player, coach, whatever you want to call it.
Not player,
Jason
coach.
cheerleader.
Be a lot more.
Player, coach. But coach, there you are, 154-37 in those 18 years as head coach. 15 of those years you've been to the playoffs. Pretty incredible. Is the excitement, is the fire there still every year as you start August 1st and then on through into the season?
I don't. You know what? That's a good question. I don't know. Sometimes it wavers, but I still enjoy it. I still enjoy being at Ridgewood. It's a really great place. People treat me good. One of the reasons Ridgewood's special and the reason we've been successful, and it's not just me. It's Coach Cabot, Coach Laney's, all four of them, the Carpenters, Brady. I don't want to miss names, but the Ridgewood community is special. We have a lot of great people, and I say this. I saw the Chardon coach say that Chardon's a great place because the parents don't get involved and they let them coach their kids. When that changes, Chardon will change. That's kind of the truth of Ridgewood. When our community changes, where people start getting involved and thinking they know better, not that they don't get involved in a good way now, because they do, but when they start trying to think they can coach their kid or something, then Ridgewood will change. But right now, it's an awesome place to be, and I still enjoy it. I still look forward to it, and I'm excited for this year.
Well, Coach, and that's what we talk about is building programs, right? You've been there 18 years, but the coaches that came before you, they build that program and tradition in West Lafayette. That's what, a lot of these coaches that we see out here tonight, that's what they do, and that's what the younger coaches that are starting out, like Coach Campbell up in Strasburg, he has to get the community to buy in. After you get the kids to buy in, after you get the administration to buy in, you know what I mean? And you have to build that program, and it starts at the youth levels. And you guys just do such a great job of, when the kids get to high school, they know how to block, they know what plays you're going to run and what to expect, and that's where it starts, right? You have to build the program.
Right, and I find myself now more and more getting into, I coach their dad, or
yes.
I'm not proud of that, by the way, but I'm getting to that age where I've got that coming through. So people know what to expect with us and with the other coaches and what they get with the program. We've got. I just telling somebody we have 67 kids this year, 9 through 12. I think we only have 143 boys in the high school, so it's over half or just about half.
Wow. That's incredible.
And, kids just want to be a part of it. And quite frankly, it's a lot, to have that many kids. But kids want to be a part of it. Our program's really big. We got 28th graders, 27th graders. We had 102 for Biddy Camp. I mean, it's just a good thing, and it's a good program. And I was lucky. You said other coaches. When I came in, I had Coach McMasters, Coach Ashkettle, Coach Williams. I mean, the guys who built the program. I just took it and try to keep it going. Yep. And that's what we've tried to do. I hope we've made it a little bit better in some ways, but it was built and in a good situation when I walked into it, and I've just tried to keep it going, and that's been our goal, to make it. I guess we wanted to take it to another level, and maybe we have, maybe we haven't, but we've tried.
You coach, you talked about some of your you played with their dads or coached their dads. 12 more years, you can get one of your players' kids. So and you had Caleb Tingle. He has a boy that's 2 or 3 years old. So hey, 10 or 12 years, you could have him.
I'd said
another Tingle running through the program.
Listen, he's just had another boy. He's got 2.
Oh,
so
goodness.
I'd like to see this one through. That's 18 years old. I'll be about 74 when that happens. But, with the right work on my face and stuff, I think I can keep it going. I've been shooting Botox into my forehead and my neck.
It's a good thing that we're up on a stage right now, because it's getting deep around here.
Oh, yeah. So when the Tingle boys graduate, I'll be 74. I plan on getting out. Right?
Okay.
That's
all right.
last year.
Well, that's our breaking news from this, right?
Gabe's going to have boys by then. So
if Gabe has boys, then I'll stay a little longer.
All right.
90, 91.
Yeah, there's
Coach, the 10-2 mark last year, we know it was a great run for Ridgewood as always, but I was going through the schedule with the 2 teams that you didn't play that you added, West Branch, Malvern. I mean, you guys always like to schedule hard. That's no surprise, but really as good as as good as it can get in terms of adding 2 teams from around here.
Right. I'm not crazy about that. I did not want to add those guys. But we were really searching when they dropped the crossover game. It's hard because people think we're, really good, so we can't get a lot of schools our own size to play us. I would not have picked West Branch. They're a lot, 2 divisions up, and they were pretty good last year, and I think they're going to be pretty good again this year. The quarterback's supposed to be real deal.
They were only 13-1, Coach.
Yeah, I know.
Come on. In Division 4 or Division 3.
4, 3, whatever they were, yeah. It's not ideal. Here's the thing. We just went yesterday in scrimmage, and, we always scrimmage Kirtland and Strongsville and Eastlake, and those guys do a great job. Our kids, they'll come and play. That's just who we are, and they did it the other day. I expected the worst, losing all those guys, and you know what? My kids pleasantly surprised me for about the 150th time in my career at Ridgewood. They came and played and did things right, and I ought to not be surprised by a Ridgewood kid anymore, but, sometimes they still do it to me.
I was going to ask when that was going to stop, but apparently not anytime soon.
No, not anytime soon.
Well, Coach, obviously you talked about it a couple of times, losing a lot of talent over the last 2 years. You lost the rest of that talent last year. The big name that we've had fun with the last 4 years is number 2, Gabe Tingle. He has graduated and moved on, and we're going to miss talking about him and having him call us during the post-game show.
Other teams won't.
Yeah. But he talk about the last 4 years just with Gabe and what he meant to the program. I know you coaches don't like to talk about individual players, but he was a special kid there in West Lafayette.
He was a great kid, came from a great family. The only reason I hate to just spend it on him, because I do gush on him, because he was just, you guys don't know, maybe you guys do a little bit more than the normal public, but he was such a unique kid, not just athletically. We've had a lot of good players, and some would argue maybe somebody was better than Gabe. I personally don't know that person, but some people do think that.
Nick does.
Nick does. I know.
You're welcome. I had to get that's my final shot. I had to get it in there.
That's it. There's no more.
But when you know who Gabe is and what he does, that's what made him such a unique kid, and we're going to miss him. Quite honestly, I think we were talking about this in the when you came to the first practice. We've had such a nice 9-year run. Our down season was 7-3 that 1 year in that time. And, they came within a Hail Mary against Claymont of going to the playoffs on the last play of the game. And quite honestly, and this will shock you, but out of those 9 years, that might have been my most enjoyable year of coaching football. And not that I didn't enjoy the other ones, but it was kind of fun going into each week, not being the favorite, not thinking if we don't win by 40, then, something's wrong. If we don't, and we kind of overachieved a little bit, I think, that year, so it was fun. I don't know this team's expectations, or I know that, but I don't know their level. Maybe it's 9 wins, maybe it's 7, maybe it's 5, maybe it's only 3. Let's hope not. But anyhow, maybe it's that, but I'm excited for it. I sat with you guys many years ago. I think it was one of those years, 2 or 3 years ago in Uricksville, and you said, what's it feel like being the favorite on every game on your schedule? And I didn't run from it. I was proud to say it. Well, now we're probably not the favorite, and we're probably the underdogs in 8 of the 10 games on our schedule. So you know what? It's a different feeling, and I'm looking forward to it.
I got hammered for asking you that question.
Well, you should have.
Well, Coach, we appreciate everything that you do. I know you've got to run, and you got some stuff you got to take care of, and we've reached the top of our first hour here, but we appreciate everything that you do. You always open up your doors, no matter if you're 13-0 or 13-1 or if you're 1-13.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate all the stuff and all the help that you give us.
Let's hope 1-13 never happens.
Let's they'll run you out of town down there.
We'll leave you with this, Coach. I can't believe other teams come down and have to cheat on
exhibition
games.
We got it right.
We got
Guys been hanging out with me. Cheated so badly.
Cheated on a scrimmage or whatever. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I cannot believe teams have to do that to you.
He does it. He does it. So. I want to say this real quick. I enjoy coming here. I thought today was so cool because I've been able to sit with so many guys like Zach, and Jason was here and got to talk with him. And Coach Hertler's here. You guys don't know us. That's one of the guys I looked up to when I was starting out coaching. And the guy's been such a great mentor to me, and now I get getting to hang out with him. Really enjoy this night, and I appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys do for us, and I hope we see you down the road, and I get to talk to you after a few wins
week
on
5.
Friday nights.
We'll be down there week 5, yeah.
And I got to give – the other day you asked me about players, and I didn't mention one guy, and he gave me a
at you.
Yeah. And you know what? I told him he's got to toughen up, but I don't know whether I should say Quincy's name on the radio or not, but he was throwing a fit, so I told him,
what grade's Quincy in?
He'll be a senior.
Okay, Quincy, he doesn't talk about players very often.
Yeah. No,
you have to wear number 2 for him to talk about you.
You threw 2 names out,
Oh,
and then
know.
I guess I responded with 2 names, and he said I named all these people and didn't name him. I was like, such a baby.
That's Coach John Slusser at his best here with our Big Z Sports Show and our preview show. Thanks to Battle Motors and Sammy Sue. We'll be back after this timeout right here on Big Z Sports and Z Country 99.9.
How does a new career in an extremely high-demand field sound to you? Well, the former Crane Carrier Company in New Philadelphia is now Battle Motors. Battle Motors is expanding rapidly for their all-new heavy-duty electric truck production. Battle Motors has immediate openings for assemblers, electrical technicians, painters, blasters, as well as numerous engineering and design positions. If you're interested in a great career opportunity, apply online at battlemotors.com/careers.
Hi, this is Jan McInturf. For the past 5 years, I have been recognized as one of the top 5 producers in the state of Ohio, according to the Ohio Association of Realtors. I am honored to receive such recognition, and I owe it all to the members of this community who have trusted me for over 30 years with the purchase and sale of their homes. When you're ready to make your move, make the call to McInturf Realty at 330-364-SOLD or find us online at McInturfRealty.net.
This is Carly Mills. At First Federal Community Bank, our mission is to empower the financial well-being of our community one person at a time. Through integrity and quality, we earn the trust of our customers and exceed their expectations. First Federal Community Bank, investing in our community since 1898. Serving your banking needs in Dover, New Philadelphia, Yorksville, Sugar Creek, Berlin, and Mount Hope. First Federal Community Bank, member FDIC.
PAC Drilling, a family-owned and operated company since 2005 in Bolivar, takes pride in being an economic oil and gas drilling company. PAC's objective is to contribute to American energy independence through profitable development, operation, and marketing of oil and natural gas wells. PAC also employs operating technicians to oversee each and every well drilled to maximize its productivity and longevity. Contact PAC Drilling at pacdrilling.com.
The certified public accountants at Moore Niedenthal Incorporated believe in the value of relationships. Moore Niedenthal has been in business for over 40 years in your community, helping individuals and businesses grow. Moore Niedenthal can help manage and prepare your payroll, plan your estate, and prepare your business and personal income taxes. Stop in to the new Moore Niedenthal facility on North Worcester Avenue in Dover and become a valued client today.
All right, here we go.
Back to Big Z on 99.9.
Welcome back into the Big Z Sports and the Battle Motors preview show live from Sammy Sue's Barbecue. Joe Geckler, Chris Cale, Nick McWilliams, Shannon Thomas is here, Adam Soweski, Travis McClellan, Ryan McClellan. A lot of the area coaches are here as well, just mingling, having fun. I love seeing coaches talk.
Big
I
Z
love
Sports
it.
fans here. It's good to see,
I
too.
love it. I love
Yep.
seeing the coaches sit and talk to each other and just, mingle before the season starts. And that's what we love about our postseason show as well, is the coaches just get to chat. And we just look around and smile because they're all sitting there hooting and hollering and laughing at the tables and eating good food and
ragging on
having a
each
good time.
other.
Yep, and we kicked your butt 50-0. And but it's a good time. But we're going to welcome in a newbie.
Yeah.
Never
well,
never
not
had
to
him,
the area, just to the show.
Yeah, never had him on our preview show or our postseason show. He's finally able to make it. Our schedule coincided with his, which is great. Tusky Valley head football coach Greg Dickerhoff. And Coach, thanks so much for coming out, man. I mean, it's been awesome to have you on our two-a-days and talk to you after some games the last couple of seasons. But it's great to have you here finally for one of our preview shows.
Yeah, thanks for having me down. Exciting to be here with all the other coaches talking football and how things are going.
Well, Coach, we talked a little bit off camera about your first scrimmage. You said you thought things went well. Talk about, the progression of some of the kids, the juniors, I'll say, because that's what is going to be your leaders right now as your juniors, other than senior wide receiver Bo Wolf, of course, but John Leffler, the junior, of course, Cole Clements, your junior quarterback, and Logan McKinney, your junior running back. Talk about their progression and what you saw out of them at your first scrimmage.
I mean, yeah, we have those guys. Cole, Logan, and and John have done great things. They did great things at the scrimmage, attacked the football on defense, ran great routes on offense. Cole threw the ball well. But also we have Drew Congdon. He's a senior. He caught a couple big passes for us. Defensively, he sets our defense. He flies the football. He's our edge setter. He's the guy that we need big things from. Ben Brideweeser, another senior. He's going to be one of our safeties. He's flying down to the football and making plays. Just a bunch of guys now who, 4 years into me being here and 4 years into the program are flying around making plays, and I think good things for them.
And Coach, losing a couple teams off of the schedule from last year in East Canton and Strasburg, 7 teams on your schedule were playoff teams in the previous year. They always say iron sharpens iron, and I'm sure you would say no different in terms of, in order to improve, you got to go up against those tough opponents.
I mean, it's really the great thing about being in our league is you're going to play the really good teams every week. Once we get into the league play, it's Malvern, it's Indian Valley, it's Garraway, it's Ridgewood. You're playing tough opponents that prepare you for hopefully that step into the playoffs, and you've played against playoff teams all year. That's who you've gone against, so it's no different.
Coach, if you look at a little bit from last year, if you look at your offense, you averaged about 10 points a game, rushing the ball about 53 yards a game, almost 90 yards passing. Kind of what's going to be the thought process offensively this year? You're going to try to air it out a little bit more? You're going to try to run the ball a little more? What's your game plan going into week 1?
Improve all those numbers.
No, I mean, I'm with you. I get it.
We were young last year and injured, and
sure.
kind of we dragged through the season a little bit with injuries and youth. But I think coming into the season this year, we're just improvement. I think every week, and I said this during the two-a-day, it's a broken record. It's what I preach every week is our goal is improvement. We're not here to worry about outcome. We're here to worry about improvement and getting better today, getting better tomorrow, and week to week.
And Coach, you did talk a lot about that, right? You're not worried about the overall 10 games. You're worried about 1 week at a time, one game at a time, and I think that's a great approach. We talked a little bit on the two-a-days about the offensive line. We talked about that last year, right? Offensive and defensive line. In the managing the line of scrimmages where this team was going to struggle last year, you said that you saw the first week of two-a-days, you've seen that group take a step forward. How did things go during the scrimmage with your offensive and defensive line and in the trenches?
They went well. We hit some big runs and protected for some big passes. I think that they attacked the line of scrimmage, attacked it well, low pad level, ran their feet. I think it just needs, again, to continue to improve. I don't think that anything, if we stay the same this week as we did last week, it's not going to be the outcome that we want. Same thing going into first week of the season. So we just need to continue to improve those things as we move forward.
Now, we mentioned, or Chris mentioned, some of those players that you were getting back. We see some seniors, juniors, people who have been around this program. Who do you feel right now is kind of maybe stepping forward and being that voice and being that leader that Tusky Valley football needs?
Right now it'd be hard for me to choose.
Yeah.
I think, you have our group of seniors, again, who are the guys that have been here for 4 years, who really have done a great job. Not even mentioning Brad Lab and Logan Postal-Waite and some other guys that were really that senior group that has taken charge. But the juniors have filled in there and have helped, and I think they've worked together as a group to really lead and do a good job this summer.
Well, that's always a good answer to hear.
Yes.
Coach, if you're looking at the front half of your schedule compared to the back half, when you get into that league play, we always refer to it as the gauntlet of the IVC South. It's a challenge week in and week out. Ridgewood, Garraway, Indian Valley, Sandy Valley. That's a rivalry game for you, Week 10, which is great to see on Week 10, a rivalry game. But this year, you get those three. You get Garraway at home, and then you're on the road for Ridgewood, Indian Valley, Sandy Valley. How do you prepare your team for such a gauntlet like that going into the second half of the season?
Again, the same thing that I said. We got to go week by week, and, taking that idea that iron sharpens iron and that we got to get better moving into the season, moving into the end of the season. I think you're playing well against those teams. Things are going well for you, that it takes care of itself. And moving forward, hopefully, having those wins, leading into that, they'll be more psyched to go in and, attack those teams.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thanks so much for coming down to visit us, being on our show, and talking about some Tusky Valley Trojan football. We're excited to have you here, and, of course, be a part of Big Z Sports. And don't be a stranger, man. Make sure I think it's going to be the first if we're trying to we're doing our show around Chris's schedule because we have to make sure he's there. So I think it's like the first Wednesday after the state championship games in December. So that's when we're looking to do our postseason show. So hopefully you can make it there too, and that's a little more. It's inside. It's
because it's cold outside. We can't sit outside.
We're not going to be there in December sitting outside, but don't be a stranger. We hope to talk to you a bunch of times this year on our post-game show.
All right.
And best of luck, and go get them week 1.
All right, thank you.
That's Greg Dickerhoff joining us here from Sammy Sue's Barbecue in Dover for our 2022 Big Z Sports and Battle Motors preview show. We were going to take a break, come back with another coach right here on Big Z Sports and Z Country 99.9.
How does a new career in an extremely high-demand field sound to you? Well, the former Crane Carrier Company in New Philadelphia is now Battle Motors. Battle Motors is expanding rapidly for their all-new heavy-duty electric truck production. Battle Motors has immediate openings for assemblers, electrical technicians, painters, blasters, as well as numerous engineering and design positions. If you're interested in a great career opportunity, apply online at battlemotors.com/careers.
Dr. Nathan Springer is in the business of making smiles, specializing in braces and Invisalign for children and adults. Dr. Springer provides smiles that can be recognized anywhere. Just look at the winning smile on some of the players. Compliments of Dr. Nathan Springer Orthodontics. Hey, that smile of pride on the face of mom and dad might be from Dr. Springer too. Dr. Nathan Springer Orthodontics in the business of making smiles at 107 Ray Avenue Northeast in New Philadelphia.
Hey, if you're looking for a great pie, then call up mi amigos at the Pizza Parlor in Sugar Creek. They start with the homemade crust, topped with their own pizza sauce, and then some generous portions of fresh toppings. Try the Pizza Parlor Deluxe or the ATM with all of the meats, or make up your own pizza. They also have subs, fish, chicken, and more. The Pizza Parlor, Dover Road, Route 39 in Sugar Creek. Give them a ring at 330-852-4888. That's 852-4888.
At Kaufman Realty and Auctions, you've got options. Your property is unique, and our agents know how to sell it. Whether it's a traditional listing or live auction, we'll earn you top dollar. Our agents will utilize whichever method of sale works best. When buying or selling your next home, call on Kaufman.
Busy schedule? Check out Benson's Heat and Eat section with a variety of entrees and sides for you to choose from. And don't forget, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6, Benson's culinary team prepares hot, made-from-scratch dinners, complete with garden salad and bread and butter. Just call ahead to order. For daily and weekly specials, visit bensonsmc.com. Follow them on Facebook or stop into the market. Benson's Market and Catering, 207 North Worcester Avenue in Dover.
Sports on 99.9 WTUZ.
Welcome back to Sammy Sue's Barbecue. Chris Kale, Shannon Thomas popping in for a segment. Ryan McClellan popping in as well on our 2022 Big Z Sports and Battle Motors preview show right here from Sammy Sue's Barbecue. We're going to welcome in New Philadelphia Quakers head coach Mike Johnson. Coach, moving into your second season at the helm of the Quakers, are you more comfortable now that things are kind of settled in and you've got a winning season under your belt, a playoff season under your belt? How has year two been, comfort-wise for you?
Well, when we look at year two, some of the things that are nice, last year we were coming in, we only had a couple of returning players.
Right.
So now we're looking at 7, 8 kids on defense who have very good experience, 7 guys on offense. So when we look at that, it's kind of nice when we look at our depth and where we are in the teaching and the process, and that's something that always gives you a little bit of comfort.
Absolutely. Shannon?
Yeah, Coach, looking over last year's schedule, I didn't get to see most of these games, but I was at that Dover game. And, that was a ball game for, up to 3 quarters, and then it kind of just fell apart there towards, the end of the fourth quarter. Is that something you just kind of
push off to the side and then just start all over this year, or is that something that you're building from right there from the get-go, because of how talented Dover was, and your guys played with them for so long?
Yeah, we really did. I think the first half was a very nice game. Third quarter, they had a little momentum, we had a little momentum, and then had a turnover, and we only ran, I think, 3 plays in that third quarter, which was a backbreaker. But we had good success really last year. When you look at the 6 wins, the 6 wins were good quality wins.
Absolutely.
You look at the losses, those teams were all really darn good teams when you look at it.
Steubenville, Dover.
Who are, and those are 2 of the teams coming back.
Right.
So really, when you look at, we're not happy with how those games went, but there's good in those games, and there's plenty to build on, and that's what we're going to do.
You always learn from a loss,
Yeah, well, you lots of times we learn from wins, too.
Ryan?
Yeah, Coach Slusser, like Chris was talking about, the experience. I got the chance to actually go up to that playoff game. How does that make your team feel, having that under your belt, your kids having that experience and, going into this year?
Well, when we look at going up to Hubbard last year, they were a great power running team, and early at halftime it was a very, very good, tight football game. They scored a couple, we scored a couple to kind of come back, and it was one of the things that I love about this, especially senior class, but this team. They're fighters and they're workers, and they were able to claw back a little bit last year in the playoff game, and that's one of the things that we've really focused on this offseason is that fight, that finish, and being able to deal with that adversity and power through. When things are hard, what are we going to do?
Coach, moving into the OCC this year, of course, Ryan McClellan going to be covering you guys all season long like he did last year. So that's why I want to make sure we got Ryan on here and got him acclimated with the Quaker fans. But moving into the OCC, obviously it's kind of like a throwback, right? Going back to it almost feels like the 1980s again, right? When you get back into the Ohio Cardinal Conference. And just talk about your conference schedule when things get rolling. You've got Worcester, Ashland, Mansfield Senior, Mount Vernon, Madison, Lexington, and of course West Holmes, and that guy standing right over there. So if you don't want to say anything, or if you want to take a shot and make him mad, go ahead.
No, 1987 was the last time we were in the OCC, so we're back at it. It's going to be exciting. We were able to go the other night and go check out Worcester as they were scrimmaging, and you see one of those great facilities that our fans are going to get the chance to go to in early September, and it's going to be a great football conference.
Right, absolutely.
It's a great conference for sports in general, but really when you look at football with the West Holmes and Worcester, they had great success last year running into the playoffs, and we're excited to get in there and compete
Senior,
with them.
another playoff team, Coach. Obviously there's a couple teams that are down. Ashland was a little bit down. They're looking to bounce back a little bit this year. Mount Vernon is always one of those teams that's kind of up and down.
Yes.
So very competitive league and kind of throwing it back, and I know you guys are excited about that. And really, the people that are concerned with the travel, look, you guys went to Marietta. You guys went to Zanesville. You guys made the trek down to Steubenville. It's not like you're traveling on the other side of the state, right?
No, it's
you know what I mean.
We're fortunate. It's Friday nights. We know what we're doing. You get out of school, you go get your sandwich, and then it's time to hit the bus.
Right.
Coach, looking at that schedule, usually when you play in the ECOL for so long, you grow accustomed to what those teams do.
Yes.
So even though they get better talent, you kind of know what their game plans are. Now looking at this schedule, as coaches, Yin's got to learn all over again, and then you got to go teach the kids.
Right. That's one of the things when I look at this schedule and I think about, Steubenville, we got a good idea what they do. Dover switches up a little bit, but we got an idea what they like to do. These other teams we've seen before, maybe some in the past. We've faced West Holmes a couple of years ago, so that's not all that different. But really, when you look at all these other teams, that's one of the things that the film is going to be so important, because you can't rely on, hey, we know that this is who they are, because we haven't seen them in so long. So it's going to be something that's different for the coaches. I know it's going to we're going to have a lot of time in on our Saturdays, all day Saturday and Sunday nights, trying to get ready for these teams.
But that's what's fun, right? It is not having that complacency in the same thing year in, year out. Now you've got something new and exciting to look forward to.
Right.
That energizes the coaching staff as well.
It's it's a new challenge, and it's a challenge that we're all excited to take on.
Coach, taking a look at some of your key returners, of course, senior quarterback Curtis Tetzloff going to be, under center for you or in the shotgun. You've got Connor coming back as well. Trevor Bean going to tote the rock for you. Willie Wallace, you can do multiple things with Willie. Richardson also at the running back position, and Fossil going to step in and do some different things for you. Just talk about where your team's set up and how the first scrimmage went and what you're looking like week one.
Well, the first scrimmage went well. It was good to see our kids go out and compete. We went out, and really the challenge was to say, how can we play hard? Can we get after it? Can we fight through a little adversity? And can we go make some plays? And we saw some of that. It wasn't the cleanest or the prettiest thing, but it's the first time you hit somebody else.
Right.
So let's go do it. And we're excited for the opportunity to get to scrimmage again here on Friday with Green. But when we look at the players, the kids, the names that you threw out there, Curtis Tetzloff has done a great job in the offseason preparing himself to be this quarterback, and he's going to do a phenomenal job. We got a lot of faith in him. His brother Connor is a two-way player for us. Trevor is so fast. He's very explosive, so we want to try to get that guy the ball and
Absolutely.
let him run, and the same thing with Willie Wallace. So those guys are all big. We got Dan DiDonato in the pass game, who's going to be an asset for us. Shawnee Dietz, Dakota McCune, all guys who have caught the ball and done some nice things for us. Owen Chellis at tight end. So we're excited. We have a little bit of depth there and some kids who can make plays. So it's our job to make sure we get them the ball and let them make those plays.
Well, Coach, thank you very much. Of course, your game breakdowns all season long brought to you by Gillen Body Shop. We appreciate you always allowing us, access to your program. You're one of those big schools in this area that we count on and that everybody follows, and we really appreciate you allowing that access to your program, to you, your staff, all your administration. We appreciate everything.
Well, we appreciate it. Like I told you before, we love having you guys around and what you guys do for our kids. The exposure you give our kids is what it's all about. Those guys that put in all the hard work, and you guys just help them make them look good. So thank you.
And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, of course, when you were an assistant there was one of your kids that was on ESPN SportsCenter because of Adam Sweski and what he did as a stringer, like Ryan is doing. Yeah. And you get your kid national exposure on ESPN.
That's right.
We love showcasing the kids in the programs. That's what it's all about. You know that.
That's right.
And we appreciate everything that you do for us.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. That was head coach Mike Johnson, the New Philadelphia Quakers. We'll be back with another coach on our Battle Motors Big Z Sports preview show right after this timeout.
Located in the rolling hills of Holmes County, Keim Home Center is the destination and trusted source for your home, building, and woodworking needs. And we are now offering appliances. At Keim, you'll find major kitchen and laundry appliance brands such as General Electric, Whirlpool, Speed Queen, and much more. Our sales and service teams can help with product selection, delivery, installation, ongoing maintenance, and repair. Give us a call or stop by today. Keim, built on trust since 1911.
Is there anything better than high school sports? Hi, this is Dan Hosteller of Ferris Chevrolet Buick Toyota. High school sports brings out the best of our high schools and our communities, and the people at Ferris have always been behind the importance of athletics and academics. Just like we believe in the great cars and trucks that we sell and service every day. Like high school sports, we are a great tradition in the area. Ferris on the Wabash, New Philadelphia.
How does a new career in an extremely high-demand field sound to you? Well, the former Crane Carrier Company in New Philadelphia is now Battle Motors. Battle Motors is expanding rapidly for their all-new heavy-duty electric truck production. Battle Motors has immediate openings for assemblers, electrical technicians, painters, blasters, as well as numerous engineering and design positions. If you're interested in a great career opportunity, apply online at battlemotors.com/careers.
Hi, I'm Zach Motice with the Tuscarawas Insurance Agency. For all your auto, home, farm, and business insurance needs, contact our team at the Tuscarawas Insurance Agency or stop in and see us at one of our 3 locations in Sugar Creek, Strasburg, and downtown New Philadelphia, providing excellent service to the Tuscarawas Valley since 1885. Everyone here at the Tuscarawas Insurance Agency would like to wish all area athletes and teams good luck this fall.
the propane team your mother warned you about. We are on top of our propane game this season, experts in making the switch easy. TMK supports area schools as a partner with Big Z Sports WTUZ. We take great pride in being a part of your community.
All the way with TMK, service with a personal touch.
This is RJ Jacobs from DAC Vitamins and Minerals. Did you know that DAC Vitamins and Minerals has more than 40 proven equine supplements that include daily multivitamins, joint, digestion, reproduction and fertility, calming, and many other specialty products? DAC also carries a complete line of livestock products called DAC Show Contender. Feed DAC Vitamins and Minerals to get the competitive edge in the show pen. We've been feeding champions since 1983.
Struggles seem too tough, when sickness takes a hold, when cancer picks a fight, when baby's on its way, when life throws you a curveball. We've got you. With nearly 130 years in your backyard, Altman knows you and knows your community better than anyone. We're your neighbors.
In Conotton Valley Rockets head coach Don Hertler, Jr. Coach, super excited to have you here, and just a few days removed from we stopped down there to see your two-a-days in Bowerston, and I got to say, I always love being down there. Beautiful facility you guys have got.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, and our community's got a lot of great things going on. It's been a fun 2 years, now on the third year, and we're enjoying it. Our kids are working hard, and our administration and our support people are outstanding, and our administration, from the last administration to some of the changes that have happened of doing everything for our kids to be successful in school and in athletics.
Coach, I got to ask you, though, when you go from a big school in North Canton Hoover to a smaller school back at your alma mater in Conotton Valley, how hard is that to deal with? You have your position battles at Hoover, right? And you have a ton of depth. But when you go to Conotton Valley, there's not a lot of that depth behind, so your position battles are even more important, correct?
Yeah, we don't have a ton of competition in practice. We try to create it whenever we can.
Right.
I graduated from North Canton Hoover.
Oh, okay.
And my first job was Conotton Valley. So the reason I came back is they called me and they were trying to get things going in the right direction, and they let me spend 6 months in Florida still. So I'm still retired, and even when I wasn't coaching football, I was still coaching my former players. And so got back in the football thing after being retired for 5 years, and they gave me my first job. If it weren't for that job, I wouldn't have got the Garraway job at 25 years old. And if it weren't for the Garraway job, I wouldn't have gotten the Hoover job. So just trying to give back to that little community, trying to put them on the map in a positive way. And I think we're doing that. I think we're very competitive against most of the teams we play. The times we have trouble is when we just don't have the depth to be able to keep up sometimes in the second half. And, like most people, any injuries are really difficult. Right. We have a pretty big drop-off with that. But our senior group's a nice group of kids. Hopefully they become really good football players as seniors. And we've got 1 or 2 juniors and then some sophomores.
Yeah, Coach, one of the things you had to do when you come back was you had to put a staff together, and you've got a really nice staff out there, and you got a young staff, and they've seemed to have done a really good job, And one of the guys that I just asked you about, I'm big on it, is Chris Nine. I think he does a phenomenal job with your defense, and your defensive players. How do you, assess Chris as a coach?
Oh, he's not worth a darn at this point, really. My entire staff, and that's why I'm talking about what our administration's done. I actually have 4 assistant coaches who teach in the building, and you can't get that hardly any place anymore. Not even close. And so I've got Chris Nine, who has worked up to the defensive coordinator when Ty Carruthers had to move to Columbus over a family situation. And then I have Curtis Love, who brings head coaching experience and a lot of knowledge and a good, tough attitude. Then I have Mike Palmer that came back with us this year, who played for me at Conotton Valley when I was young and has been at Harrison Central for 25 years or so. And he's back in the building teaching. And Jamie Harlan, our trainer. It all starts with a trainer, actually. He's the best. He's absolutely the best. He knows how to handle things. He doesn't look for problems. If they come across, he'll deal with them. But he's one of the best trainers I've ever been around. And then we got Derek O'Hara from Claymont this season, and he's very organized and stays on top of things. And then we also have Tony Scott, who's a volunteer, who is a superintendent all around at Bel Air, Marlington, and some other places, Coshocton, I think. And Tony gets to be the good cop for the first time in a long, long time. And he's a Conotton Valley grad. So my staff is really, really good and really good guys, and we're having a lot of fun together.
You kind of got an all-star staff there. You named off some of those guys. They were pretty good football players in high school.
Yeah, really good football players and really good teachers and really good teacher coaches.
Well, speaking of those being good teachers, when we were out there for our 2-a-days, I want to get to your schedule, but something I had to make note of. You mentioned you've got a smaller roster, obviously being a smaller school, but when you guys were stretching at the end of one of those sessions, I noticed you had a couple kids who were sitting up there and they were leading everything and they were making sure everybody on that field was being as accountable as possible. I'm sure that's what you guys are trying to teach day in and day out.
Right. You teach leadership every day, and this year's group's going to be a little bit different leadership-wise, but I was really happy with the scrimmage, especially defensively, that we had some seniors that started acting like seniors and playing with more enthusiasm, and they've been behind a couple pretty decent groups of leaders, so it's been a little adjustment for them. Some are quiet, some aren't, but we're going to elect, we've got 3 captains elected right now, and we're going to elect one more. I haven't announced it yet to the kids. We'll do it. We have a community night practice tomorrow night. So we'll be practicing in front of our community, and we're all doing fine.
I was going to say, wow, I thought you were going to announce that there. Man, we're going to feel really special.
Teaser.
I like that. I like that.
So if you're out there in the Conotton Valley District, make sure you get to practice tomorrow night for the big announcement.
Yep.
Well, now to that schedule question I was going to have for you, Coach. This is something else we talked about. I think Adam and I talked with you during the 2-a-days. You have some interesting new teams coming in here, some teams that, we don't really necessarily know much about. There was that Manchester team from, I think you said, by Cincinnati or something.
Yeah, they're around Cincinnati. We're meeting them in Columbus halfway. It's one of our home games. So we'll meet them halfway and see what it goes. I really don't know much about them.
When I saw Manchester
we
on
thought
the schedule,
Panthers.
I'm like, oh, you're playing Manchester Panthers, right?
Yeah, I don't think they really could compete with us.
There you go.
Maybe Coach France is gone now, and they got Brophy. Maybe they could compete with us.
Shots fired.
But other teams on there, this Frontier team, playoff team last year, a team you didn't play. Then you got Bridgeport, we know, coming up from around the Ohio River and such. So some unfamiliar territory, but does it kind of help spice things up maybe a little bit to get those teams you don't necessarily know a whole bunch about?
Yeah, we've been playing Bridgeport for a long time, or they have been. Last year got called off because of COVID.
Right.
And Frontier is a 1-year deal, and then I think we have, I forget who Toronto was going to replace them. Okay. Something that's happened to us, which, when I went there the first year, our schedule was pretty friendly for us, but some of the teams that aren't the strongest teams in our schedule have now dropped us. So we open up at Tuslaw Division 5 up there, and then we have Malvern, who's probably the best overall team on our schedule, I would guess, with depth. And so that's going to be a tough start, and we got to find a way to steal one if we can.
Yeah, and then you've got Newcomerstown, Strasburg, and then the Bridgeport game like we had mentioned. But 3 of your first 4 on the road, Coach.
Right.
So you're going to need that senior leadership like Nick was talking about so that they can step up and, teach these young kids about what it's like to play a tough schedule on the road.
Yeah, and that's one thing these seniors, especially a handful of them, have been really, really good with our younger kids. There's been they'll stay out and work with them extra. They'll go run with them extra. So I've got a couple guys there that I'm really, really happy with the way they're passing it on. And even the things that we've got going, our youth program's going really well. I probably won't be around to see all the rewards of it, but I want to leave it a better job than when I got there. And they were doing a good job before I got there getting kids out. And that's cyclical, but I'm hoping that we have Garson Imes, who was in the bad car wreck last year. He's volunteering in the 8th grade. Colin White was our center. He's volunteering with the 8th grade. And James Burleson's graduated last year, and he's volunteering for the elementary. So we're starting to get that stuff going that people won't see or notice, but we're getting some traditions built in and making it more important and trying to give them the best experience they can have.
Coach, you lost a couple key players in Maddox Walters and Brett Putnam, but you're bringing back some good, good quality kids. Zach Putnam's coming back, Evan Rice, Gage Gallagher. What do those kids mean to your program, and what do they got to do to step up, to lead these younger kids?
Number one, they need to work hard consistently, which they have been doing that. I'll name all my seniors if I can. Evan Rice is a quarterback, running back, linebacker. Damon Reardon is a wide receiver, defensive back. Gage Gallagher is a running back. Gage sort of plays a lot of places for us and a linebacker. We've got Drake Mullins, who's a linebacker. He's not very big, but he's a good tackler and a tough kid. Nolan Caldwell, who's the racer at Midvale.
Yes, he is.
Who does very well.
Yes, he does.
It's great to have him out because he does a lot of things for us, too. May not be great at anything, but can do a lot of things and smart enough to play a lot of positions.
He's a pretty good race car driver, Coach.
Yeah, I know.
Me and Shannon know that.
Yeah, I know. And other seniors, Justin Lambert is a returning tackle for us. Ben and Dave Haney are twins. One's a tight end, D lineman, and then Ben is a offensive tackle.
Speaking of Dave, that was the one I asked you about, and I said, what in the world has he been fed throughout his life? He's about, 6'5", 6'6"?
Yeah, he's about 6'5", yep. And they're both coming around. Big kids take a little longer sometimes to come on and get coordinated, but Ben Haney really had a nice first scrimmage for us and was a lot more active on defense, a lot more confident, and that's what's good to see, when they become confident. You gotta execute first, as we had a speaker a week ago that played for me at Hoover, Alex Ramsey, on my 2003 undefeated team. He was a 5'7", 150-pound Stark County MVP and took 6th in the state in wrestling and state champs in the 4x8 relay and was voted the #1 student athlete at University of Cincinnati his senior year. That's boys, girls, every sport. So I've tried to expose our kids to, we go to Mount Union for camp for 3 days. I've tried to expose them to different things and get them out of the valley a little bit and get them around people. So some other seniors, I got Robert Meyer, really good kid and good offensive guard for us, good defensive lineman. And hopefully I did not miss any of the seniors. I think we have about 9 or so.
Well, that's good because, they say you win games with senior leadership, so the numbers are coming up when you can get that many seniors out and you get kids to follow in their steps.
We hope to. We had a little problem with getting some of the younger kids out. That's their decision, and it's just going to set them a year behind. And disappointing because we could have played a nice JV schedule with them, freshman JV type schedule, where they could play against kids their own age, own size, and have some success. And last year we ended up playing 3 freshmen second half of the year because of our JV schedule. And so, but, it goes in cycles that way, and eventually it'll get figured out, and the next guy taking over at whatever point is going to have things pretty well set up, staff-wise and program-wise, I think.
That's great news for Conotton Valley, and I'm sure the parents coming up of those kids are going to be very grateful for that, Coach.
Well, I hope so. They don't have to be grateful. They just got to get their kids there.
There you go.
Sounds like when you have 75 boys in a school and you graduate 35, it's a challenge,
Yes, sir.
But our kids will play as hard as they can, as long as they can, and if we can take care of the football and hang together and survive the first few weeks and tough it out during those, and who knows how the outcome is going to be, but then we start playing teams with more kind of numbers that we have. So we'll see. We're looking forward to it.
Well, Coach, I know we're looking forward to as well, and we'll be sure to be keeping a close eye on Conotton Valley, and always so great to have you on our show and have a discussion. So Conotton Valley head coach Don Hertler Jr. here with the Big Z Sports preview show. Oh, go ahead, Coach.
I just, it's been really neat. I spent my first 10 years in education being here in this county, and it's great to see these coaches who I coached against, who have had relationships with, and just the people in Tuscarawas County. I stay with a buddy of mine, his family in Dover. So it's really been neat to come back. I probably enjoyed that as much as anything. Guys that I had at Conotton Valley, I coached a lot of their fathers.
Yeah.
A lot of their fathers. So, and I want to shout out to the Novak family. You know, we lost Braylon last February, and one of the finest young men you'll ever find, and Garsenheim survived it. And so I'm sort of hoping that our guys appreciate what they really have, and that they have the ability to play, and they have a good place to play, and they're getting taught the right things on and off the field. So thank you. Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you so much for throwing that in there as well. Don Hertler Jr. for the Conotton Valley Rockets. We'll be down in Bowerston keeping a close eye on your team this year. Don't go anywhere. The Big Z Sports preview show brought to you by Battle Motors from Sammy Sue's Barbecue. We'll return after this.
When struggles seem too tough, when sickness takes a hold, when cancer picks a fight, when baby's on its way, when life throws you a curveball, we've got you. With nearly 130 years in your backyard, Altman knows you and knows your community better than anyone. We're your neighbors, your friends, your family, and we want you to be the healthiest you can be. Altman, we are ready. We've got you.
Tailgating season is here, so why not do it in style with a new car, truck, or SUV from Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Dover. Choose a winning game plan when you bring your trade and ask about great financing options on any car, truck, or SUV on the lot. Joel and the Parkway CDJR team will help you shop and find the best deal for you. No hassle and no stress. Football season is the perfect time for a great deal, so pick a winner at Parkway Dodge Jeep Ram in Dover today. Your way, the right way. Visit ParkwayChryslerDodgeJeepRam.com and drive forward.
The First National Bank of Denison appreciates the hard work and dedication area athletes exhibit to be the best they can be for their team. We follow that same philosophy with our customers, working hard to build personal relationships and making our services convenient. The First National Bank of Denison's community involvement is important to us, and we love supporting our local schools. The First National Bank of Denison, with offices in Denison, Dover, Jeanette Hutton, South Broadway, and Schunbrunn in New Philadelphia. We have our roots where others have their branches. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Jordan Hartzler. At Hartzler's Quality Housing, our goal is to help customers achieve the dream of home ownership. We have been a family-owned, affordable housing business for over 40 years. We value our customers and have the knowledge and experience to help you walk through the home buying process from start to finish.
Conveniently located just off I-77 in New Philadelphia, stop by and browse their model homes or learn more by visiting Hartzlers.com. Wood Electric has been trusted with all of your electrical needs for over 30 years. They are the place to call for residential, commercial, and industrial work. Wood Electric is available 24 hours a day and ready to help with any electrical problem, outage, or installation. Wood Electric, serving Tuscarawas County and beyond since 1988. Like Wood Electric on Facebook or find them online at woodelectric.net.
Take two.
You forget what to say. So we are here at Sammy Sue's Barbecue. Joe Geckler, Chris Kale, Travis McClellan joins us on site. Thanks to all the coaches so far that have joined us here on our show. We're going to welcome in another newbie this year, fifth-year head coach at Malvern, but a first-time visitor to the Big Z Sports Show, Matt Turco. Coach, congratulations. Thanks so much for coming here and joining us and being a part of Big Z Sports. We've waited for this day for a long time to have Malvern involved, and we finally have what we wanted.
Yeah, we're very excited to be a part of this now.
Coach, looking at your schedule, we'll hop right back into it. We talked a little bit on two-a-days about last year. We want to fast forward and talk about this year. How did your scrimmage go, first and foremost?
We thought we played a little bit better than, at least in my opinion, I thought we played a little bit better than what I thought we would.
Okay.
We had a lot of success through the air and stuff like that, and defensively we were just sound. I do think that we'll get a stiffer test on Thursday against Coshocton, and that to me is going to be more of a measuring stick to see where we're at.
When you look at the schedule, I know you're going to go day by day, week by week. So you start off at East Palestine. They were 0-10 last year. You had the big 55-0 win. I know that they're kind of rebuilding things down there. Talk about having to travel down there in week one and what you're looking for against Coshocton to get ready for that game.
The one thing against Minerva is we had way too many penalties. So we want to cut down on those. A lot of them just mental mistakes, but still, in general, we want to make sure we're cutting down on the penalties. I'd like to run the ball a little bit better. I didn't think we had a lot of success, but it's not our offensive line. It's more of our quarterback. Jared's got to do a little bit better on some of his reads and stuff, and we talked about that this week. So those are kind of the things. You're going against a wing T team, so when you really don't have any film, sometimes it can be difficult. So, hopefully our kids face some adversity Thursday night, because I'd rather them, start getting used to it, because they're going to face it, 10 weeks throughout the year. And then, once Thursday's over, we'll get ready for East Palestine, and they're still a young team.
Right.
They're still rebuilding. But week one, everybody thinks they can go 10-0.
Of course they do.
And so, you're going up there, nice stadium, and we want to make sure we get off on the right foot.
Coach, first 2 weeks are on the road for you, but good thing for you, defense travels, right? Last year, giving up just over 10 points a game. Looking forward to watching your defense when we get to see you live. Talk a little bit about that.
We don't have a lot back defensively, but, we've been running our same system now for 5 years.
Sure.
So our kids know what to expect. We're not fancy. We just get after it. And our kids, I think, they're getting better. A lot of for them is just review and whatnot. But it's just repetition.
Sure.
Is the big thing. And like I said, Thursday, I think will be a good test for us to see where we're at.
Coach, I got to tell you, being out there 2 days and watching this young sophomore quarterback that you have, he's impressive. He's got 6'4", he's got a big arm, he's got great scramble ability, he's going to play some free safety for you as well. But what was impressive, if you turn on two-a-days, and I know you don't want to let all the other coaches in the area know this, but if you turn on our two-a-day segment, the first kid that throws a 40-yard bomb right in a breadbasket is your sophomore quarterback, Jared Withrow, and the kid is, I think he's going to be special for the next 3 years for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, even Friday, even though he made a couple bad reads, boy, he can throw the ball.
Yeah, yeah, he can.
And like I said, we ran him a few times. Like in a scrimmage, I don't want to run him a bunch and stuff like that, but he looks good. For a sophomore, he's got a chance to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think so.
Coach, looking at your schedule, you start off, like we mentioned, East Palestine. You go there. You have the first two on the road. You got to travel to Conotton Valley. They were a playoff team. That's going to be your first playoff team from the previous year on your schedule. You knocked them off last year 40-12. And then you come home for two, on the road for two, home for two. How do you keep your team up, motivated each week?
It's just taking it week by week, especially with a young team. We want to go 1-0 every week. And so, going down to Conotton will be a task. I know they don't have a lot of kids, but the kids that they do have are pretty good.
They got a pretty good coach.
They got a pretty good coach, and he calls a pretty good game offensively, and it kind of keeps you on your toes and stuff like that. So that's going to be a tough one down there. Like I said, we haven't been down there in 3 years, and nice thing is it's not far, but it's still it's one that worries me a little bit. And then we come home for Waterloo and Tussie Valley, and we saw Waterloo on Saturday, and they have a lot back, real run-heavy offense, which can give us some issues. Sure. And in Tussie Valley, talking to Greg, he's got 40 kids out, and I think they're, even though they're younger, they're going to be like us in a sense that they're still building, but they do have some good players around.
Coach, we talked about your roster a little bit, and you're going to be a little young at quarterback, but very talented. Talk about how you're going to grow, because you got to learn to win. And the IVC's for real, and you know that. And you're losing Gareway off your schedule, but you're gaining Ridgewood there. Talk about how your kids are going to learn to win along the way, and what you're going to expect from them, and being led by veterans teaching those young guys.
Well, we only have 2 seniors. But junior-wise, we like our juniors. There's only 8 of them, but they're all good players. And so we're going to really rely on those juniors and seniors to really show our kids. And I will say this: I think early on here, we only been in practice for a little over a week. They've done a very good job.
Good.
And we've kind of got on them. Hey, we got to get going here. We got to get going. You got to pick it up, and they do. I just think that they know what we want, and they know what we expect, and so they're kind of showing. And like I said, first couple weeks. I've been pretty happy so far with the way things are going.
That's great.
Could we be better at things? Absolutely, but I'm happy with where we're at right now.
That's great.
Coach, as your first time visiting here with us in a preseason show, postseason show, you haven't been to one of those yet. You'll get there this December. But and it's going to be a first for you as well. Week 5, we're going to be at Ridgewood for your game against the Generals. And it's going to be live play-by-play action that week on week number 5. We're excited to see the Malvern Hornets down at Ridgewood. How long has it been since you as a coach and your team's been to Ridgewood? Have you been
I think it was 2019. Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I think 2019 was the last year that we played Ridgewood. So a lot of our kids, haven't been down there. And, even as an assistant, back when we had our great run, from 2007 to 2013, we had some great games with Ridgewood. And for whatever reason, we seem to play okay down there. And it is difficult to play.
Yeah, it is.
But, we're going to treat it like any other week and, go down and get after it. And, like I said during 2 days, I said, regardless of what happens, we're going to come out of there a better team, and it's going to prepare us for the second half of the year.
Speaking of the second half of the year, you get into the IVC North schedule, Strasburg at Buckeye Trail. That's a nice long trip for you. Newcomerstown at TCC on a Saturday, kind of throw you out of your routine a little bit.
Probably going to have that game as well.
That game will be on, and of course week 10, East Canton, the rivalry there for you. So that's the back half of your schedule, but all conference games.
Yeah, I mean, and I kind of like that now. I like having 5 weeks to kind of prepare yourself, because in the end, we want to win the IVC.
Sure.
And I think every team, wants to win their half of the division. But it really gives us some time to figure some things out. Get our kids experience, so that we're ready to go.
Coach, I want to thank you too. Ron Rug Automotive has stepped up and been your game breakdown sponsor this year, and I know they made a call to you. So we appreciate the kind words that were passed on from you to the business that ended up sponsoring you guys this year. We appreciate that. Our reputation's pretty good, and we appreciate you passing that along.
Yeah, and Ron had called me. It was one day last week, and I said, Ron, they do a great job. I said, this is the first year that we've been a part of it. I said, I've kind of hoped that we had, but he's like, okay. He's like, let me make some calls. But Ron he's been a board member for a long time, put it that way, and he's a big supporter of Malvern athletics. And Ron and obviously his team down there, Ron Rug Automotive, do an outstanding job.
Yeah, they do, and they sponsor a lot of cars at Midvale Speedway that I deal with too a lot. So
yes. we in the past, like I said, I've been doing this 8 years. Chris this is your 7th year on the air with us, and Travis been around 6 years, and a lot of the guys have been around. They're pretty tenured with what we do, but Malvern's always been, teams that we talk about because they're playing other teams that we covered. And, the one guy that really got Malvern on the map for us is an assistant coach for you now, and it's Curtis Metzger. So Curtis was really spearheaded this for you guys and got Malvern on board. And he sent me your number, and he said, you better contact Coach and tell him who you are, and he knows all about you. So get a hold of him. He wants to be a part of it. So we're excited to have you.
Yeah, I know. Curtis, I'm fortunate to have him. It's nice having an offensive line, defensive line coach that just can worry about your offensive and defensive line. And Curtis has been a great addition. The kids like him. Coaches, we all get along. So I mean, it's been beneficial for sure.
Well, Coach, again, thanks so much for joining us for the first time. Here's what we do in our post-game show, okay? Every Friday night, I will only be a part of one of these this year because I'm on the road from week 2 on. But week 1, at least I'll get to talk to you, hopefully. And we call coaches, and don't take offense to this, because if our rule is if you lose your game, it's not that we don't want to talk to you. Yeah. We don't want to bother you because you got other things to worry about than talking to radio people.
But he said, I know. I'll talk to you.
And there are coaches in here say, hey, I still want to talk. I still want to talk. There's coaches that do that. But after each win, we'd love to hear from you on the postgame show. The guys will text you or call you and say, hey, are you available to talk? And if you want to join our postgame show, our goal is to get as many coaches on in an hour as we can. And if you can't come on, that's quite all right. But we'd love to have you every time you win a game. Even if you lose a close one, you want to talk about your kids, we're okay with that too. So
that sounds good. Yeah. It sounds good to me.
We've had coaches call from the bus. We've had coaches call from the
They usually have to simmer everybody down.
We've had a coach join us before and live in the studio. He came up after he won a big game. He actually came up to the studio and joined us. Well, it was really cool.
And a lot of coaches in the area too, they'll actually have their kids sit around and listen to the post-game show just to see what everybody else did. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, thanks so much. Good luck week 1. We'll see you week 5, and we're excited to have you a part of Big Z Sports.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Malvern head coach Matt Turco joining us here on our Big Z Sports and Battle Motors preview show. Back after this with Big Z Sports right here on Z Country 99.9.
Hi, this is Phil with the Ford Parkway Quick Lane Service. When the vehicle that transports your team needs maintenance, you expect it to be done accurately and quickly so you can get back on the road. Don't get sidelined by your vehicle. When it comes to servicing your team's vehicle, let my all-star team at Parkway deliver you the winning combination to keep you on the road and safe for the long haul.
How does a new career in an extremely high-demand field sound to you? Well, the former Crane Carrier Company in New Philadelphia is now Battle Motors. Battle Motors is expanding rapidly for their all-new heavy-duty electric truck production. Battle Motors has immediate openings for assemblers, electrical technicians, painters, blasters, as well as numerous engineering and design positions. If you're interested in a great career opportunity, apply online at battlemotors.com/careers.
The Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Tuscarawas and Carroll Counties is an agency established for the purpose of planning, funding, monitoring, and evaluating contracted mental health, alcohol, and drug treatment services. Services across 4 local agencies are available for county residents regardless of ability to pay. Mental health and physical health are connected, and taking care of both is a requirement for your well-being. Go to adamhtc.org for more information. Adams Board, supporting your journey to wellness.
When it comes to understanding your options for buying or building a home, refinancing your current mortgage, or finally adding that sunroom, CSB is here to help. Check out our video series at csb1.com titled Mortgage 101. This informational series covers everything from what to know before you buy a home to life after your mortgage is paid off. When you are ready to discuss specifics, our mortgage experts will handle the details. Call or text us at 800-654-9015. The Commercial and Savings Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Thomas is here, Nick McWilliams, Adam Soweski, Ryan McClellan, all here. Of course, the Claxon Communications crew as well. Casey, Greg Perkins behind the camera, and our girl Lydia Brady on the controls over there.
LB.
Doing great things for us here, Big Z Sports. Big shout out to Sammy Sue's Barbecue for hosting the event 2 years in a row now. Last year we were inside because it was about 1,000 degrees and it was raining.
Yeah.
This year it's only 1,000% humidity. Nice to be out here on the patio.
We've been here more than just those 2 times, though. Because I remember talking to this guy
maybe
when
2 years in a row
first,
at least.
Yes,
Yeah.
but when he first was getting the West Home Shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
But we are going to welcome in our reigning, defending, undisputed Big Z Sports Coach of the Year, Zach Gardner. Coach, thanks so much for taking time to join us.
Hey, guys, thanks for having us, and thanks for putting on this event. It's good stuff.
So you're head of the bloodline now, as you're the reigning champ.
The head of the table.
The head of the table.
Head of
Yep,
the table.
absolutely.
I saw them walk in doing this.
I
with
know.
the belt.
That did not happen.
But we've only had two-time Coach of the Years. He was our first one ever, and then our most recent one. So he is
the bookend.
He's bookended.
There we
so. Coach 6 seasons out at West Holmes, and I don't think there's been as much anticipation, excitement, expectations, all those big words on your program since you've been there in 6 years.
Yeah, we obviously have a lot of success last year.
Yeah.
And, we've got a great culture, and we've got great athletes coming back, a lot of returners. We've got a lot of talented guys stepping in for the first time into spots. But, there's a buzz in Holmes County about West Holmes football, and that's what we strive to create. That's what you strive to that culture and that excitement and that community involvement. That's what you want. And, we've got a lot of people excited about West Holmes football in the school and in the community.
Well, Coach, that's something that, a lot of coaches sometimes have problems with maintaining those expectations and keeping kids grounded, keeping the staff grounded. You've been in those spots before. You come from the long bloodline of, hey, we're good football teams year in and year out. How do you maintain that for your kids now and get that to pass down to them? Hey, we got to stay grounded. We still got to go week by week, because if we lose our focus and we end up taking an L, it's going to hurt us.
One of the biggest things is we don't lie to our kids. We let them know what the expectation is. The expectation is to win a state championship.
Period.
We tell our kids that. Now, the key to that is it isn't we're going to win the state championship. It's you have an opportunity to win the state championship, and you have to. You can have those big goals, but how you get to that big goal is by setting a little goal every day and winning the day, and going out and getting better. You either get better or you get worse in practice. You never stay the same, and that's the mentality that we're pushing on our kids now. Is did you get better today? Did you get better watching that film? Did you get better lifting? Did you get better in that individual defensive drill? Did you get better during special teams? Did we make ourselves better and move towards that ultimate goal? And I think our kids really, really respond to that.
Coach, you've had a nice run here. We just talked about it. Undefeated regular season. I believe it was the 3rd time in school history. You won the OCC outright title. We got to call you in the state semifinal in a blizzard up there against Chardon. So you're moving the program, obviously, but how do you handle it now that you've got to play from the front?
No.
So you've built this program that's statewide. Everyone's looking at the Knights, and you're going to be their red letter game on the schedule.
Well, and that's the thing. We definitely have a target on our back now. We're not sneaking up and surprising anyone. I told the kids that, do you understand you could make someone's season by them coming out and competing? And that is a hard thing to do, is to dial it up every week and every day in practice. But it's something that we can consistently preach to our kids. What we've really doubled down on is I've been on teams before where we've had a lot of talent returning, but the culture wasn't there, the leadership wasn't there. So we're really trying to hammer those leaders to step out of their shells and to come out and to lead the program. And we're doubling down on 2 of our most important core tenets, which is selflessness and toughness. You have to be selfless to play a team sport like football, and you have to be physically and mentally tough. Not everyone can do it, especially in this day and age where everything in our society is against being selfless, is against being mentally and physically tough. It's tough to do, but our kids that are there are bought in. They understand that, and we're pushing them. We're hard on them. They understand why we're being hard on them, though, because, again, we have that target on our back. We have those big goals, and we have to bring it every time that we practice and every time we go out and compete.
Coach, looking at your schedule, and I'm going to talk about this first game, but you got to promise me something here. I want you to get away from Coach speak right here.
All right.
Because week one for you, many teams don't get to play their rivalry game week one. It's usually like week 10. We see one here in Dover, Philly, week 10. That's a rivalry game.
Yep.
You get your rival week one.
Yep.
And you didn't get them last year.
No, or the year before.
So look into that camera, look at us, and tell us how much this game means to your program.
I will
Not
say,
Coach speak.
I will say this: our kids were denied a ritual in their life that West Holmes kids for years before them have had the last 2 years, in a game that means a lot to our kids, to our school district, and to our community. That team that wears purple is a huge game for the West Holmes community, and our kids have certainly had that one circled for a long time, being denied the opportunity to do that the last couple of years, and they are ready to go play football week one. And we're excited. Being a part of a rivalry like that's important. That's an important part of high school football. So many people have so many great rivalries in the area, and we're lucky to be a part of a great one and get to play it week one. But like I said, that certainly is a game that means a lot to our kids, and they have prepared as if it is a game that means a lot to our kids.
Coach, looking down at some of your key returners, obviously SWD is going to be at everybody's forefront. We know the amount of Division I kind of notice that he's brought out, right? Everybody knows about SWD and what he brings to this program. He can do just about anything. Your senior quarterback in Mason Wolf stepped in last year in a playoff game and showed tremendous poise and leadership. I'm sure he's carried that over to this year. Elijah Baldridge, like Travis had mentioned on our two-a-days, he could come up with 200 tackles this year. I mean, the kid is just outstanding football player. You return Nick Ginsburg, which is a comfort zone in the kicking game to have that, right? And also Kyle Maltrich, you bring in SWD's brother, who is going to rush the passer. Talk about some of these kids.
Yeah, well, the first thing I'll say about Sam is, for a 16, 17-year-old kid with the amount of spotlight that he has had on him and the amount of, getting pulled this way and pulled that way, he has remained so humble and so tough and just a team guy. He structured all of his camps. The big thing with these college recruiting trails is going to these camps and all these universities inviting you there. He didn't miss a single workout of ours he wanted to be with his team, and that was something he told his college coaches. So he's been just a great kid for us. Besides obviously being a great player. Excited to have Mason Wolf at quarterback. He's probably a guy who could have started at a lot of places in our area, and we go back to our culture that we talked about, our selflessness and our toughness. I don't know anything that's more selfless than being a junior, being willing to go play some JV games, and get coached up and learn and wait for his spot. And when his spot opened up, he was tough enough to go out there and propel us into a regional championship game. Score 5 throw 4 touchdowns, run for 1, throw for 355 yards. So it's his turn now, and that's how the good programs are. You know what I mean? Some of your all Ohio type players play a couple JV games their junior year. They get developed. You know what I mean? Because they have that culture.
Sure. It's not, I'm a freshman, I need to play now or I'm quitting.
Yes, they get developed and they get put up, and then when it's your time, you step up, and then you have the toughness to go out and do it. Elijah Baldridge, I'll tell you this: last year in the phone booth, he was one of the best players in the state of Ohio. We challenged him to become more athletic, so that, because again, the teams that we want to play to get to our goals, you're going to have to play outside the box. You're going to have to defend the pass. You're going to have to tackle people in space. So we challenged him to become more athletic. He worked his tail off, and he's not just an in the box player anymore. He can go out there and get after it. You mentioned Nick. You have an all Ohio kicker. That is such a weapon to have in high school football, knowing that you have those 3 points, or you don't have to score a touchdown. You can get up 2 scores. I know in our regional championship game, it was huge to get up 2 scores, because we feel if we get up 2 scores on people, we've got a great opportunity to get that, and we were able to do that. We knew we had a field goal. Don't turn it over. Let's get up by 2 scores, and obviously it led to a 10-point victory for us in our regional championship game. And Kyle Maltrich is a name that you guys need to know. He as a sophomore, he was well on his way to becoming our #1 receiver last year, and he got hurt after week 4, so we were without him the rest of the year. year, and he has just absolutely transformed his body in the weight room, worked his tail off going to camps, and he, as a receiver and a defensive back, he's going to make huge plays for us this year.
Coach, we're gonna jump to your schedule a little bit. You get Triway back on your schedule, Licking Valley back on your schedule, New Philly joins the league. The OCC is already a really good football league.
Yes.
Let's talk about your schedule a little bit here.
Yeah, well, we're excited about our schedule. We're Division IV football team now, and we're going to be a Division IV football team for the foreseeable future. And, our league is D2s and D3s. That is a recipe for us to have a lot of success, to go play really good programs like a Worcester, like a New Philadelphia, like a Mansfield Senior. You get to go out there and you get to test your wares, and iron sharpens iron, and when you go out there you get better from playing good people, and that's what we want to play. We want to play good people, and because you get better from that, and our league certainly prepares us for our playoff runs. We've had great playoff runs 3 out of the last 4 years. 2018 we were tied with the state champs in the first round of the playoffs with 5 minutes left in the game. They go on to win a state title, running clock everyone after that, and we had an opportunity to win that game in 2018. 2020 we lost to our regional champs in a very close game in Tiffin, Columbian, and then last year we lost to the state champions in Chardon. So we feel we're knocking on the door of busting through, and our schedule certainly helps us prepare for that.
Coach, we talked to another area coach earlier in the day, and he was mentioning something about not being fair in a scrimmage or something, and he wanted me to bring that up to you and running extra plays on him or something.
All right, so here's what happened.
Right.
First of all, before we kind of dig into Coach Slusser, he's always been amazing to me in my career.
Oh, yes.
When I was a young coach at Sandy Valley, man, he was phenomenal to me. Coming up through, playing against him and whatnot, always so good. So we are lucky to have a great scrimmage partner like Ridgewood, okay?
Yes.
Where you get together. You get some of these coaches that try to win scrimmages and passing
Sure.
7-on-7s. They think like it actually counts in the record book.
Oh, yeah.
When actually the point of it is to get better from it, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So all right, he runs his program well. We run a program. All right, what do you want to do? What's the format you want to do this? Let's just get our stuff in and go. All right. He said he was done after 8 plays. Right, we go out. Apparently, we ran 12 plays.
Okay.
I don't know how many plays we ran. All right, but if you've seen the movie Kingpin, okay, that classic from Big Earn McCracken, right? Okay, but if you've seen the movie Kingpin, you know that the Amish, and we're out in Amish country, we always do things twice as hard as everyone else.
Right.
So we in that movie they bowled 15 frames instead of 10.
Yep.
We run 12 plays instead 8, I guess.
I get
what it takes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, and Coach, I see you're starting Ari a little young, getting him into the 90s music. I see had a lot of good fun with him this summer, taking him to some 90s music concerts. Man, I could see, Dad was bumping the beat a little just as hard as Ari.
Oh, absolutely, man. When you have kids, you love watching them grow up, man. And you get those moments where you do stuff. So we took him to a One Republic concert, okay? We're sitting out in the lawn.
Yeah.
We're having fun. They just come up and say, hey, well, you guys want upgraded to the 6th row? So, I guess we'll go up to the 6th row. So we got to go up to the 6th row. But, no, I'm blessed to have my son. He's been coming to football practice with us and stuff. He got hit in the stomach with a ball the other day. But, those are the moments that you do this for, man.
Just
being good dads.
Just don't let him turn to new kids or nothing.
No, I'll tell you what,
keep
man,
away from that.
He likes that 90s stuff. Big third eye blind fan. We've turned him on to their good stuff.
Give him a little 3 Doors Down, a little Matchbox 20.
There you go.
What I'm saying?
There you go.
Well, you've been listening to our Big Z Sports and Battle Sports Motors preview show, and we've had our reigning, defending, undisputed Coach of the Year on with us. And Coach, obviously, like we mentioned, the first question to you was the expectations. How do you table that coming into the season? Because the kids know it.
Yeah.
The fans know it.
Yep.
The coaches know it.
Yep.
How do you as a head coach say, how do I do this? How do I keep these guys grounded?
You double down on the how they practice. You double down on how they act. You double down on the things they need to do. Like, I think we're having a hard time right now. I talked to the team about this. Like, we aren't where we were last year. That didn't just happen. Like, a lot of hard work went into that. You get out of things what you put into it. And our kids last year put a whole heck of a lot into that. And I think our kids are getting a little little frustrated at the moment because we're not there. It's a process, and you have to understand that process. You have to understand that grind. You have to understand that work that goes into it. And when you double down on that, and like the culture that we talked about, selflessness, toughness, those are the things that we just are trying to beat into their heads so that they understand what it takes to go be successful and to win at the level we want to win at. Today at practice, I outlined, guys, this is what the opportunities you have. You know, I don't know many, maybe Ridgewood in the area, but have back-to-back 10-0 football seasons. We looked it up. Only one team ever in the history of the OCC has won back-to-back 3 straight OCC championships. We feel like we have an opportunity to do that this year, let alone, you know, getting a legitimate look at a state championship, which we feel we have. We have great culture and we have great players. You have to have that combination to have a look at it. You know, we're not saying, you know, we're going to win it or anything. We feel we have a legitimate, if we go and we reach our potential, we have an opportunity to be playing for a Division IV state championship. And, you know, but it's up to us as coaches and it's up to our kids to continue to grind and work and put the work in to get to that point.
Along with you as our Coach of the Year last year, we had a West Holmes sweep, and Noah Clark was our Player of the Year. How's Noah doing? Where's he at? What's he doing?
Noah's great, man. He was just at practice today, actually. He's getting ready to go to school. He's going to play baseball.
Awesome.
Was telling me he's going to they have like a week and a half leadership thing before he plays in their fall baseball league that they're going into. But no, I just texted 3 of our players who just reported to college today.
Good.
You know, and you know, to go play football, and you know, we're excited about the types of kids we're turning out into the community. You know, that are going to go off to college and have great lives. You know, be great fathers, great employees.
Sure.
You know, great husbands eventually. You know, we're very excited about that, and Noah is certainly one of those kids.
That was I had the privilege of talking to him in a baseball game this past spring, and saw him up at Sandy Valley when they were playing in a game. And such a humble kid and very gracious. And he came up and said hi to me, which was awesome. And it was just really cool to see him being so humble and so honored to be a Player of the Year for us. And you know, I got to talk to him. Didn't get to see him play that day. He had pitched the day earlier, a couple days, and he was out of pitches or out of innings for that week, and he couldn't pitch. But very humble kid, and I believe he went to Marietta, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Playing baseball down at Marietta, so we're excited. Good luck, Noah.
What a program down there at the Etta Express. You know.
Yeah, baseball-wise, that's a great place to be.
You ain't kidding.
Noah's a born leader, and whatever he decides to do, he's going to have success in whatever it is in life that he decides.
Absolutely. How's Bridger doing? Have you talked to
Bridger? Love Bridger, man.
Yeah.
Text with Bridger often. He comes and he came and weightlifted with us a little bit.
Good.
Bridger Klein, the first quarterback that was didn't throw a football basically till his junior year, and you know lit it up. He did good, man. It was he's the one who really started the fire for us. You know what I mean? As a program, he's the carpenter of the program who built it from the ground up, and bought in and just put us in a position in 2018 playing Kenston, who ended up winning the state championship, and gave us an opportunity to win that game.
So, again, that's Coach Gardner from the West Holmes Knights. Coach, thanks so much. Go get him week 1. I know you got that game circled on your calendar. We'll see you week 9 when the Quakers come visit Millersburg, and I'm sure we'll talk to you a lot more down the road.
Absolutely. Appreciate everything you guys do. Is phenomenal for this area. It's the kind of stuff that kids remember and kids care about, and when you do stuff like that, that's something special that those kids, for those kids.
Zach Gardner again, West Holmes head football coach, joining us here on our Big Z Sports Battle Motors preview show live from Sammy Sue's Barbecue. We'll take a quick timeout, come back. We got some other teams to talk about. I think we're out of coaches. I think we saved the best for last, and we got our Coach of the Year on and got him to talk a little Knights football. We're going to come back and talk about some more programs and some other fun things going on with Big Z Sports coming up this season. Back after this on Z Country 99.9.
Dino Piergolini & Sons Equipment Incorporated is your one-stop shop for all your equipment needs. Offering the option to buy, rent, sell, or trade equipment is what separates Dino Rents from everyone else. With pickup and delivery or even field service available in their service department, Dino Rents can handle repairs needed for any make or model. Dino Piergolini & Sons Equipment is located just past Midvale Speedway and can be found on Facebook or contacted at 330-364-8055. Also offering a location in Caddis to better serve you.
How does a new career in an extremely high-demand field sound to you? Well, the former Crane Carrier Company in New Philadelphia is now Battle Motors. Battle Motors is expanding rapidly for their all-new heavy-duty electric truck production. Battle Motors has immediate openings for assemblers, electrical technicians, painters, blasters, as well as numerous engineering and design positions. If you're interested in a great career opportunity, apply online at battlemotors.com/careers.
Hi, this is Jan McInturf. For the past 5 years, I have been recognized as one of the top 5 producers in the state of Ohio, according to the Ohio Association of Realtors. I am honored to receive such recognition, and I owe it all to the members of this community who have trusted me for over 30 years with the purchase and sale of their homes. When you're ready to make your move, make the call to McInturf Realty at 330-364-SOLD or find us online at McInturfRealty.net.
This is Carly Mills. At First Federal Community Bank, our mission is to empower the financial well-being of our community one person at a time. Through integrity and quality, we earn the trust of our customers and exceed their expectations. First Federal Community Bank, investing in our community since 1898. Serving your banking needs in Dover, New Philadelphia, Yorksville, Sugar Creek, Berlin, and Mount Hope. First Federal Community Bank, member FDIC.
PAC Drilling, a family-owned and operated company since 2005 in Bolivar, takes pride in being an economic oil and gas drilling company. PAC's objective is to contribute to American energy independence through profitable development, operation, and marketing of oil and natural gas wells. PAC also employs operating technicians to oversee each and every well drilled to maximize its productivity and longevity. Contact PAC Drilling at pacdrilling.com.
Nick McWilliams here, as Joe Geckler is very confused now.
What are you saying?
Larger crew. Look who's sitting here. No, maybe I needed to choose I should have chose my words better on that
for
one.
For a little guy, you might not want to talk too much.
I'm not usually called the little guy, but as Joe would say, I've got my offensive line with me.
I can tell you right now, you gained some yards.
Yeah.
Apparently so. Well, anyway, guys, of course, there was a great talks we've had with all of our area coaches so far. Sure. Always great having them come in here to a wonderful place in Sammy Sue's. Can't thank them enough for their hospitality they've shown us tonight. And, of course, a big thank you to Battle Motors for everything they did tonight to set some things up. Some good responses, people taking advantage of those $10 Sammy Sue's gift cards, too.
Oh, absolutely. It was good for them. You know, a great promotion that they did on top of what we were already doing. Being a part of, sponsoring this, sponsoring the preview shows, sponsoring the upcoming coaches shows, which is going to be really fun for us to do this year. To have a quick response like that for somebody to, to come in and talk to them about what they do. That's exactly what they couldn't ask for anything more, and what a great event. And if you're not ready for high school football after this one, I don't know what it would take.
Well, you better rewatch and try to prepare for this. Of course, we are live on our YouTube channel. If you're listening to us on your radio dial, you can check us out on our YouTube channel. Big thank you to Casey Claxon and his crew, and Greg Perkins and Lydia Brady for helping us out with that. But, guys, I mentioned Sammy Sue's a couple times because that's naturally where we are, but it also leads us into our next team we want to talk about, because our game breakdown sponsor this year for the Dover Crimson Tornadoes, Sammy Sue's Barbecue. With Dover, last season, 12-1. I'm looking at Travis because I know how excited he was about this Tornadoes team.
I was.
Phenomenal team that they were. Of course, they just ran into the buzzsaw that is the Chardon Hilltoppers.
Sure,
Regardless, you cannot look past the fact that this was a phenomenal Dover team last year.
Yeah, I mean, undefeated regular season. A wonderful game that we called against St. Vincent there early in the playoffs. They got Aurora, Kenston, and then, like you said, they ran into the eventual state champion, which a lot of people had problems with Chardon. They dropped that one 31-3. But, one thing about Coach Ift in that game, and Coach Gardner too, and I said this during the two-a-day segment, you can play conservative and slow down the game and lose by 14 or 21, or you can let it all hang out and go for it and try to win. And if it doesn't go your way, you get beat by 31-3 or something of that nature. And those two coaches have the chutzpah to do that and say, you know what, we'll take a beating, but I'm doing everything I can to give my kids a chance to win that game. And Chardon's a juggernaut. Talking to Mitch Hewitt before the last season, he's like, yeah, we're a year away. So they're putting everyone on notice.
Yeah, a year away, and we're talking about a team now that everybody should be scared of.
Sure.
But, Shannon, I'll go to you first. Running down through that schedule that Dover does have in front of them, some teams that they didn't face last year. We know that big matchup with Indian Valley Week 3. I'm asking you this naturally as our resident Indian Valley guy. It's an interesting matchup for Indian Valley and for Dover, because for Dover's sake, it might be a team that has a very different approach from what they might be used to in their division. As for Dover, I'm going to get myself all tongue-tied now. But regardless, it's a matchup we don't normally see, so it's going to be an interesting test in Week 3 for both sides.
Yeah, Dover will get to see the run. I mean, usually with Dover, they get to see a little bit of both. Indian Valley's coming in, they're going to run the ball. That'll be a game to where Indian Valley will get to find out if they're ready. Because I think the first 2 games, they'll do enough. The coaches will prepare them, They're a pretty good senior team, but they do have a lot of young kids playing in different spots. And I think that Dover game will be the first true test to find out where Indian Valley stands.
Now, Adam, looking at the teams that were added for Dover, we're talking about Lorne Park. They're a team from Canada. I don't really know much of anything about them. But then Columbus DeSales and Boardman, you no longer have Vincent, Warren, Strongsville, or Marietta on their schedule. So some definite changes, but 6 playoff teams that Dover will be meeting. Naturally, after the run they went on last year, though, you'd have to think that the Tornadoes faithful would not be that scared of that.
No, absolutely not. And that's one thing when you're used to playing a competitive schedule year in and year out. No matter what schedule comes to you in the following year, they're going to be prepared, and Dover will be prepared. I'm beyond anxious to see that Week 3 matchup, though, with Indian Valley. I know that hype was there going into last year, and unfortunately that little bug canceled that game. And I know a lot of people were disappointed, including us, because we were anxious to see that game as well. So, for Week 3, that's kind of the first one from an outsider that I would have circled on that schedule. And I know they have Canfield on the schedule, and the big one, I believe, this year, Travis, is Boardman.
Yeah, they added DeSales, they added Boardman. They really beefed up the non-league schedule there, as they're not in a league currently. But you got to remember, Dover bumped up to Division II as well, and so they're beefing up the regular season schedule so they can, like Coach Gardner said in the last segment, iron sharpens iron. Coach If believes that in his program. They'll play some people, and they've had some battles with some big schools in the past, and they loaded it up again. Like you said, they go through a stretch there. Steubenville, who's returning 8-8 on each side of the ball. Canfield, DeSales, Boardman, all in a row. You better be healthy coming through there, because that's some big boy football.
Now, shifting gears to what I will call the elephant in the room for Dover, though. We know they've got a lot of good players back. You have to talk about Ben Ham, Tyler Stevenson, Matthew Gigax, Mitchell Martin, Brett DeVault, and, of course, Lucas Lane. Be that as it may, though, we're talking about a lot of losses when it comes to this. Both your quarterbacks in T.C. Malk and Aiden Hall. Your kind of driving force to this team and often points last year in Connor McGarry. Joey Farthing, we knew what he could do from the outside. So it's going to be kind of tough, though, still for Dover.
Well, they're going to have to learn to win. And because when you look in the huddle, you no longer see a T.C. Malk or an Aiden Hall or a Connor McGarry or a Ryan McVicker playing both sides of your line.
I missed,
I mean, I saw Ryan McVicker the other day take 315 for a ride on the bench 5 times. I'm like, oh. So you're not going to be able to look in the huddle and see those guys. But, you got to learn to win, and somebody's going to have to step up. And they will. Ben Ham's back. He's a missile at free safety. Matthew Gigax is getting bigger and stronger. I saw him in the offseason. It's like, he's going to be a handful at defensive end, probably play some tight end for you. Mitchell Martin can take it 80. Stevenson's back at wide receiver. So, there is some things back. It's not so woe as me. Brett DeVault played defense. So it's not so woe as me. It's just going to be new faces, and they're going to have to learn to win, because some of those kids maybe only played 20 snaps a game last year. This year they're going to play 60 to 70 snaps a game. So that's going to be the difference. And you got to learn to win in those tight games. And so they're going to have to, Coach If is getting after them early here. They go to Ashland on Thursday to really find out kind of where they're at.
I'll ask both either one, Shannon or Adam, for this one. With this in mind, with how Dover finished last year and some of these guys now having to step up, maybe into roles they've never been in before, maybe in a little bit brighter spotlight, there's a lot of pressure on these Tornadoes for that, but I really would be hard-pressed to find a better coach to do that than Dan If to get them ready.
Yeah, when you're in a program like the Dover program and you don't play a lot of snaps the year before, your nerves are, you got to go out and you got to live up the hype of what is Dover, but I think, Dan If will have these kids prepared. The senior leaders will step up and they'll do what they do. The younger kids got to follow suit and go. But, the pressure will be there week 1. But then after that first whistle, that first kickoff, it's just football. Go play football, you'll be fine.
Yeah, when you coach somewhere for 28 years, this isn't the first
Only
time.
28.
Yeah, this isn't the first time you've dealt with losing a load of skill players like they have coming into this year. It's not his first rodeo. He knows how to handle those kids, get those kids prepared. So I look for the same type of Tornado team to hit the field this year.
Definitely. Well, thank you guys for that. We'll shift gears now away from the Dover Tornadoes, and we'll go ahead and talk about one of the opponents we brought up for them, of course, the Indian Valley Braves. And Indian Valley, a 7-3 finish last season, 3-2 in the IVC. Probably a little disappointed from that, dropping 2 of their conference games. Be that as it may, it was still a great year for them. Ultimately falling to Heath in a tough one in the second round of the playoffs. Coming into this season, Shannon, when you're looking at this Indian Valley team, we kind of almost expect them to get to the playoffs year in and year out. Obviously, they're looking for a much deeper playoff run if they can manage it this year, though.
Yeah, not with the way the playoffs are set up. First round wins, my opinion, first round wins really doesn't mean a whole lot now. The second round would typically be your first round. So you want to get to that second round or third round. That just helps you, Indian Valley this year, I think they're going to come in with a lot of kids playing in a lot of different positions they've never played before. The offensive line this year, to me, will be the biggest question mark. Last year they had, Cam Anderson, Brendan Hughes, Joe Reynolds, Austin Bear. Those guys all graduated. They got one kid, in my opinion, Landon Green, probably played the most offensive line snaps last year, other than Cale Coachman at tight end. Well, now Cale Coachman's not even the tight end. They've moved him. I think he might be playing guard. I'm not real sure on that. Braden Parsons, brother of Brody Parsons, who was a center a few years ago. Braden Parsons 2 weeks ago never played the offensive line. He is now the center in Indian Valley. So, the offensive line, they're going to need these couple weeks. They'll play Orville Friday night in a scrimmage to see where they go. And, hopefully they can gel together. They'll have a couple weeks, before they run into Dover and see what they can do.
But, you mentioned the line, and that's one thing that I've noticed in all levels of football that everybody tends to forget about. These teams may be loaded with skilled players, and they should do this, do that, do this. Well, how's the line play going to be? Because it all starts up front. And Indian Valley, they're loaded in the backfield. You mentioned 2 names. You got Gavin Hendry and the freshman coming in, Grady Kinsey. If you haven't seen him, you're going to see him. He's huge. He's fast. He's good. He'll be a name that we're going to mention frequently, but it all starts at the line, and that's what a lot of people. That's why at the upper levels, that's why so many tailbacks, quarterbacks, they all mention their line because they know how important it is. So you're absolutely right, Shannon. They have to seal up that line to get the Braves moving in the right direction this year.
Well, I want to ask. I'll call him our resident offensive line expert in Travis McClellan. Run me through how difficult that might be. First of all, just losing 3 starters off your offensive line is already a tall order to answer. But as Shannon mentioned there, some of these guys coming in who have never played these positions before, that's extremely difficult, especially in a league like the IVC that we know is physical in the front 7.
Sure. Well, offensive line, you have to build so much chemistry because you got to get blitz calls. You got to get the changes because defense is jumping around. So you have to come off the ball at the same time, especially when you're run blocking. You can't be a typewriter. Everyone has to come off together. That takes reps. That takes snaps. And then your center's making all the line calls. And you mentioned a new center. So they're going to have to go through that. There's going to be some growing pains up front for the Braves. And they're going to have to – Coach Lancaster, he's been there 16 years. He's going to get them going. But there are some growing pains up front. And the football starts there. You can ask a Gavin Henry or a Colton Thomas or Sam Carter if they want to run the football with no one blocking. Those guys up front got to do their job so you can showcase that talent in the back end.
Now, looking at the schedule side of things, adding in Kent Roosevelt, a team from that's the Washington, D.C. team, correct?
Yep.
The Washington, D.C. team, don't know much about them. Cambridge, who could be a surprisingly tough opponent to go against. We know they were a playoff team last year. But you get rid of Akron, Manchester, and Buckeye Trail, 2 very notoriously tough, rough, and tumble kind of teams. So I think for the Braves this year, the schedule, we mentioned Dover. That's going to be a tough one, especially coming off the season that the Tornadoes had last year. Already talked about Cambridge, but it's business as usual when it comes to the IVC, but still in a lot of ways a very tough out-of-conference schedule there, Shannon.
Yeah, Beaver, they lost a lot of people, first game of the year, but they got a lot back too. They got the white kid back. He's a very fast running back. I think he plays a little bit of slot. I don't know much about Washington Roosevelt. I do know they like to run the spread. As far as win-losses, I haven't did really any research. But then, Dover and Cambridge are going to be 2 tough games. Don't know much about Cambridge, but I do know that last Saturday they scrimmaged Garraway, and the varsities didn't score on each other. So apparently Cambridge's defense must be pretty good up front if they was able to keep Garraway from scoring a touchdown. And then, like I said, then you'll do their crossover game with Newcomers Town, and then they'll go into the IVC. And 2 great games for them last year was the Garraway-Ridgewood game. The Garraway game was 6-0 going in, like a minute and a half left to go of the game. All Garraway needed to do was get a first down to end the game. Well, so Indian Valley sent everybody. Ethan Miller was able to squeeze through, get a touchdown. And then Ridgewood game, it was just back and forth to the end. And then, at the end of the game, Ridgewood was able to pull it out. But 2 really close games for them. And then, like you said, they played Philo in the first round, won that pretty easy for Coach Lank's 100th win, and then they took on Heath in the playoffs.
That's interesting on the back-to-back because I know that, if I'm not mistaken, Cambridge has moved to the spread offense. So it's what
we've heard.
Yeah, it's what we've heard. So if Dover holds true to run their spread like they typically do, 2 back-to-back spread offenses to try to defend, that's a tall order in itself for the Braves.
Yeah, Shannon, and you talk about Dover and Cambridge, but 3 of their toughest opponents for the Braves are on the road. They go to Dover, they go to Garraway, and they go to Ridgewood. Those are 3 quality opponents on the road. So the Braves, who are going to have to come along with their offensive line, are going to face that on the road. Talk about going on the road and facing 3 of probably your 4 toughest opponents away from home.
Well, that's going to be tough. That's pressure on your defense right there. Your defense has got to go into hostile territory, and you can bend but don't break, as you always say. And if you make too many mistakes on defense, it could become an onslaught real quick, and that's not what you want to happen, which they got some good guys back on defense. They'll have Cale Coachman on the line this year. Landon Green will be back. The freshman Grady Kinsey getting a lot of playing time, at nose tackle. You got Braden Parsons and Remy Myers returning back at linebackers, but Jackson Bircher, who's a sophomore, big kid. He's going to step in at middle linebacker, and he's going to do some damage. Quake Beatty, he's a good inside linebacker. I like it, man. The kid can get to the ball fast. He can hit somebody. He's one of those kids that he doesn't take his body into consideration. He's just a missile across the field. He's going to hit you as hard as he can hit you, and hopefully he gets up. And
you missed one that's kind of a ball hawk back there. I believe he wears number 7.
Yeah,
he's a pretty good football player.
Colton's moved to safety this year. That's where he's going to start out. But
he's a pretty good football player.
Yeah, he's good. He's got I think he had 5 interceptions last year. Brogan Bircher at corner, he stepped up big last year. I think he had 3 or 4 interceptions. Tanya McComb had a big interception down to Heath, so those guys will be in the backfield. And, and for one more year, anybody gets to talk about a field goal kicker. They got Daniel Miller back for one more year before they have to go back to running the 2-point conversions. But Daniel, I think he hit a 42-yard field goal at the scrimmage,
Wow.
So, yeah, like I said, they got a lot of talent back. Overall, and probably, I think this will be the 7th year maybe I've been standing on Indian Valley sideline. This is one of the more talented groups of kids I've seen. But because of graduation last year, losing kids like Cole Lancaster and Caleb Wells and those guys, they've had to move a lot of these kids around. So now that these talented kids are having to learn new positions, learning new reads, the offensive line's got to learn more keys. The linebackers got to learn more keys. So it'll be a big learning curve for this group of kids. And like I said, week 3 and 4, I think you'll really see where this team is headed.
Well, I know we're definitely looking forward to that Week 3 matchup between Indian Valley and Dover. Probably a lot of these questions we've talked about will be answered when it comes to the Tornadoes and the Braves. One other quick breakdown here of this segment. The Claymont Mustangs this season, led by head coach Eric Henry. Last season, we know in his second stint, got his first 2 victories. Mustangs finished 2-8. It'd be disappointing to say, a 2-8 record is not always the most positive thing, but as Chris Cale attested to when they went to the 2-a-day segment there, and just kind of the fan buzz around the Mustangs, things seem to be going in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, one thing I can talk about from last year, it seemed, and my memory is not the greatest, but it seemed like there was an awful lot of weeks that the Mustangs were in games, and it just slipped away at the end. And that 2 wins could have very easily been 4 or 5 wins. So, that's something to build on, too, for Coach Eric Henry, is just say, hey, guys, look, we were there. A little harder work, a little bit more work in the weight room this off season. Get another year under your belt. Those tight losses could very easily turn into good wins for you.
Very well could, and that's always something important to preach there. And running down this schedule, as you mentioned, Adam, a lot of those games that they were close in, it was usually close in like the first half, and we were thinking, well, we'll see what the Mustangs can do here. In that second half, that was when often it would tail off, and they would have the problems and ultimately end up dropping the game. And Travis, speak to the importance maybe of figuring out how to finish that game in the second half, because we're talking, as Adam mentioned there, that's the difference in a lot of different wins and losses in that last season.
At first, it has to be mental. You have to believe you can win those football games before you go out and actually win them. And it's not here we go again. So it takes leadership from and this sounds odd, from the administration all the way down to the ball boys to buy in and say, you know what, we can compete here. We can win these football games. And once you get over that mental hurdle, then you start to win those close games. You got to learn. You got to get your nose bloodied and learn how to win those close games before you break through and win those games. And, the schedule's what it is, but Claymont has a lot of returners.
Mm-hmm.
Mooneyham's back at quarterback, and so you got that going for you, and a couple other kids coming back. So those kids that were in those tight games, if they can just, like you said, Adam, go a little more, and then they learn to win, they're going to win those games instead of dropping a close one like they did at Buckeye Trail.
When speaking of some of the returners, this is not a returner, but it is a name apparently we're supposed to be watching out for, according to Chris, as we've been told about quarterback, linebacker, freshman Nolan McMurrow. Heard that that could be a very interesting thing about how much playing time he gets. But as you mentioned, Mooneyham back,
sure.
Brody Moreland, Alec Tarakitis, Drew Fox, I think, had a couple carries last year,
yep.
And Caden Elder. There's actually a lot of seniors on this team. So, it's been rough over the past few years for Claymont football, but still, you've got all that experience coming back, and after coming off those 2 wins, Shannon, you'd think maybe this can start going in the right direction and start building more of that momentum.
Yeah, and I've been fortunate enough to get to watch some of these kids, and like I said, Nolan McMurrow, he is going to be a stud football player. He will play on defense as a freshman. I have no doubt about it. He has every ability to go and take the starting job at quarterback. And that's the luxury of, they got Mooneyham to come out to get the season started. Mooneyham might go the whole season. McMurrow might slide in at wide receiver, or it'll flip-flop. But Mooneyham will be on the field regardless if he's quarterback or if he's wide receiver.
The perk of having great athletes.
Yes. It's full of athletes. They got one of the fastest kids in the county in Alec Tarakitis. I think he went 40 yards on the second play of the scrimmage against Beaver for a touchdown. Mac McCluskey is on the offensive line. Kid hit the weight room this year, and he's big, So you got Mac McCluskey up front leading these guys. A.J. Boucher's back is running back. Didn't get to play last year. He had, I think it was a knee injury. He hasn't got to play yet this year. I don't know if doctors are still holding him out or if they're just easing him in. You don't want to bring him, ready for a scrimmage or not. Caden Elder will get to carry the ball some. Like you said, Drew Fox will be back in the backfield. So, yeah, this is a good team. I think their questions will also be offensive line, defensive line play. But they are very deep in the skilled positions so that they can carry that on. If the line can step up, this could very easily be an above 500 football team this year.
Now, looking at their schedule, back-to-back home games to open up the season, only 4 road games total, so they'll be in the close, comfy confines of Uricksville for most of this season. Losing Canton South off that schedule, Canton South, we know that's a tough opponent for anybody to play. The teams that they add, East Technical Scarabs, I don't know anything about them, but the ones that we do know about, the Marietta Tigers, which is an interesting matchup for those Mustangs.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a good I think that's a good matchup for the Mustangs. I think that'll be a quality opponent for them. I think that that's put it this way. I think for Mustang fans, that's a great swap to get rid of Canton South. And
no one wants to play
right.
Canton South. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was a good move. Good schedule change there for them. And you had mentioned it, Shannon. If I'm Coach Henry, I'm figuring out as many plays as possible to get Alec Tarakitis out in the zone,
sure,
and let him go. Because after track season last year, there's not many kids around here that's going to catch him.
No, in pads or not in pads, it doesn't matter.
You look at the schedule, and we talked about Indian Valley. Some of their better opponents are on the road. We only talked about 4 away games for the Mustangs. They're going to go to Fairless. A.J. Sarball's got the Falcons going in the right direction. They're going to take the long trip down 77 south with Marietta, and then they go to Tuscan Valley and to Ridgewood. But they got Gareway at home. They got Indian Valley at home. They got Buckeye Trail at home. So Sandy Valley at home. So they're going to be in the friendly confines of that new stadium. Newish stadium. I know it's a year old now, but that's new to me.
Yeah, it's still new.
And so it's different when you're playing for home. It just is. Your routine is the same. And so, they're going to get those games, and that'll help get them over the hump, too. When you feel comfortable, you play good football.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for all those thoughts, and we will take our final time out now before we come back, talk a few more teams, and then wrap things up for your 2022 Big Z Sports Preview Show presented by Battle Motors from Sammy Sue's Barbecue. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
The certified public accountants at Moore Niedenthal Incorporated believe in the value of relationships. Moore Niedenthal has been in business for over 40 years in your community, helping individuals and businesses grow. Moore Niedenthal can help manage and prepare your payroll, plan your estate, and prepare your business and personal income taxes. Stop in to the new Moore Niedenthal facility on North Worcester Avenue in Dover and become a valued client today.
How does a new career in an extremely high-demand field sound to you? Well, the former Crane Carrier Company in New Philadelphia is now Battle Motors. Battle Motors is expanding rapidly for their all-new heavy-duty electric truck production. Battle Motors has immediate openings for assemblers, electrical technicians, painters, blasters, as well as numerous engineering and design positions. If you're interested in a great career opportunity, apply online at battlemotors.com/careers.
Dr. Nathan Springer is in the business of making smiles, specializing in braces and Invisalign for children and adults. Dr. Springer provides smiles that can be recognized anywhere. Just look at the winning smile on some of the players. Compliments of Dr. Nathan Springer Orthodontics. Hey, that smile of pride on the face of mom and dad might be from Dr. Springer too. Dr. Nathan Springer Orthodontics in the business of making smiles at 107 Ray Avenue Northeast in New Philadelphia.
Hey, if you're looking for a great pie, then call up mi amigos at the Pizza Parlor in Sugar Creek. They start with the homemade crust, topped with their own pizza sauce, and then some generous portions of fresh toppings. Try the Pizza Parlor Deluxe or the ATM with all of the meats, or make up your own pizza. They also have subs, fish, chicken, and more. The Pizza Parlor, Dover Road, Route 39 in Sugar Creek. Give them a ring at 330-852-4888. That's 852-4888.
At Kaufman Realty and Auctions, you've got options. Your property is unique, and our agents know how to sell it. Whether it's a traditional listing or live auction, we'll earn you top dollar. Our agents will utilize whichever method of sale works best. When buying or selling your next home, call on Kaufman.
Welcome back to the Big Z Sports and Battle Motors preview show for 2022, live from Sammy Sue's Barbecue. Joe Geckler, Chris Cale, Nick McWilliams, all night long. Shannon Thomas, Adam Sawecki's here, Travis McClellan, the Claxon Communications crew of Casey Claxon, Greg Perkins, Lydia Brady. I found out when I was taking the segment off there, and you guys did a great job filling in, by the way. Lydia Brady will be dedicated to us at Big Z Sports at all of our games. So Lydia is our executive producer.
Lydia, we are so sorry already. But thanks, that's great.
She told me in the break when I was over there, she said she loves the football crew, the basketball crew. She really can't stand very well. So,
ouch.
So we
That's
apologize.
not true, is it, Lydia? That you like the football crew better than the basketball crew? No, she said.
Yeah, she said yes.
Fibber.
She shook her head yes.
Joe's forgetting that I'm sitting behind him, so the head bob is still there.
She's
anyway.
And see, she's so shy, she won't come on here and rebuttal anything. Yeah. She'll just sit over there and say, I didn't say anything.
But we're gonna we got a few more teams to talk about. I'm going to talk about Sandy Valley real quick. Of course, Brian Gamble in his 6th season, 35-18, 4 playoff appearances. And I will preface this by saying Coach Gamble was supposed to be here tonight. He had some things going on with his family. He couldn't make it. He called me this morning, really super apologetic, and I said, Coach, you know what? Here's a cool thing. We got your 2 days in. We know you have things going on tonight, but guess what? We'll see you week 1 on Thursday night. So he's all excited about that. So we'll be up there Thursday for the Fairless Falcons, who they lost to in overtime last year, 29-28.
That was a fun one.
It was a fun game. Going to be another fun one up at Sandy Valley. First time we'll get to be there to do a game for Sandy Valley. They were 6-5 last year, 2-3 in the IVC. They were the 13th seed in Division 5, Region 17. Lost to number 4 Garrettsville Garfield, 28-13 in the first round. But have some kids coming back. They got Canyon McCourt coming back, of course, Nikki Petro, and several other players. Only 2 seniors on this ball club this year, so a very young Cardinal football team. Should be interesting. Of course, they have the back half of their schedule is going to be the IVC South, which is always tough. We've talked about it all night. Look at the front half of their schedule. Fairless at home, at Akron, Manchester, at Canton South, which is going to be a very challenging game. I saw Canton South in a 7-on-7 earlier this fall, and they have some dudes on that team. And, of course, former Big Z Sports Coach of the Year, 2-time Coach of the Year, Matt Dennison, the head coach up there at Canton South. They have some dudes on Canton South's team, so that'll be an interesting team. Interesting game. Minerva and then East Canton as well. They have 3 teams on their schedule that they did not play last year, so some new blood for the Cardinals. Going to be fun.
And all 3 playoff teams.
Yes.
And all 3 in the front half of that schedule.
They have
so
6
interesting.
6 playoff teams. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 playoff teams on their schedule this year.
And they added 3.
Yeah, so it's going to be a challenge for Coach Gamble, but I know him and his staff are up to it, and it's going to be fun for the Sandy Valley Cardinals.
Definitely will be fun for those Sandy Valley Cardinals. Moving on to our next team, we got the Tuscarora Central Catholic Saints, of course, led by Casey Cummings in his 11th year. Last season, 3-7. They went kind of up and down a little bit.
And I do know one thing. We were told very emphatically that Jordan Cherry is their quarterback.
Oh, he is.
Just wanted to let
he
you know
is,
that.
right, Shannon?
That's what Casey said.
Well, it is interesting. He is under key returners here.
But somebody here wasn't sure.
Yeah,
and we had heard other things, and we were made sure that we knew Jordan Cherry was.
I was made sure.
Yes.
Somebody in close proximity to where we're sitting right now, maybe really close to me.
Yeah.
He did an about face and left me to get chewed at midfield.
Yeah.
Well, there's no reason for both of us to get yelled at. You said it.
So, Saints fans or anyone watching, yes, Jordan Cherry will be returning senior signal caller.
For the record, his practice jersey is 33, in case
just
you
so
were wondering.
What's his game number?
1.
Okay, good. I thought you knew that.
Yeah.
Cherry will be back for the Saints, of course, as will Thane Mahaffey, Chase Sikansky, Lucas Dumermuth, Gavin Douglas, and Jameson Sedlock, and Zane Norris as well. Some of those names that you will be recognizing as TCC fans. But it's a tough one for the Saints considering some of the names that they did lose. James Brooks, who we got to see a couple different times. He was a bulldozer of a running back. Hunter Saban, we know how fast he was on the outside, as well as Jacob Renneker, who also made some big plays for this team. So for TCC, it is going to be an interesting year, but do get back some of their core key players. Looking down through that schedule, as we mentioned last year, at the 3-7 mark, some of the teams that they do not have on the schedule anymore, guys, Garraway and Sandy Valley, 2 very tough opponents they've run into. They added Grove City Christian, did not win a game last year. That doesn't mean anything necessarily, but for TCC, still going to go up against some tough opponents such as Buckeye Trail, East Canton, which, if you guys remember correctly, that East Canton TCC game was very close there for a while. They'll also be taking on the Malvern Hornets, which we know how difficult that they are to top, and that Wheeling Central Catholic team, which we actually got to do that game on a Saturday on play-by-play. That Wheeling Central Catholic team is no joke either. So TCC, not going to say their work is cut out for them, but coming off that 3-7 season, I know that Coach Cummings is going to be righting this ship and putting them in the right direction. We've seen what the Saints can do when they function as a well-oiled machine, so looking forward to some Saints football this year.
Yeah, absolutely. The TCC Saints obviously will rebound from that 3-7 record last year. I'm going to take a look at the Carrollton Warriors. Jim Salimos had some surgery, I guess, off-season surgery, so he was unable to join us tonight. Coach, hope you're getting well, and we'll see you soon. Talk to you soon. See you at Garraway, right?
Yep.
That's kind of the highlight of the schedule for us in the early half is the Garraway Pirates will host these Carrollton Warriors. Again, Coach Salimos in his 4th season, 2 playoff appearances after winning that Division 5 state title with Lisbon back in 1995. They finished up last year at 8-4. They were the number 7 seed in Division 4, Region 15. They lost to St. Clairsville, the number 2 seed, 38-9 in the second round of the playoffs. They did get the big win over Cambridge in the first round. They added Akron Manchester in week 1, Philo in week 2, and Garraway in week 4 to the schedule. Yeah, that's kind of what I said. They lost playoff teams in St. Clairsville and Canton South. They also lost Coventry from their schedule. So, they'll start things off up at Akron Manchester, who was a playoff team, like I had mentioned, and then they'll get 2 in a row at home against Philo and St. Thomas Aquinas before playing at Garraway here on 99.9 and streaming online. And also then Akron, Kenmore, Garfield on Saturday to wrap up week 5. Then they get into that heavy EBC schedule, which is Marlington, Alliance, Salem, West Branch, and Minerva. So that's your schedule for the Carrollton Warriors, head coached by Jim Salimos. Everybody knows who they're returning. They're returning Big Chase, 2,200 yards plus last year on the ground on 357 carries.
I only want to make one quick comment from that because, we always kind of joked. We know what Chase could do with the ball in his hands, but you said he's 140 pounds soaking wet. Did look like he put on a little bit of weight during this offseason. So we'll see. Well, no, maybe 160 or so. So we're going to see maybe a little bit more of a bulldozing Chase Olstrom this year, which would be fun.
I mean, the kid averaged 6.3 yards a carry and averaged almost 30 carries a game.
29.75 carries a game.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible. 186 yards a game. He also had 3 touchdowns receiving last year. They're going to welcome in a new quarterback. I know you got to see him firsthand. Caden Smith is the senior signal caller. He hasn't played, but he's got a good arm. He's got Brock Smith to throw to, Zach Martin as well, Nathan Baker, Ethan Benner. Senior-laden team is the Carrollton Warriors.
Yeah, definitely a senior-laden team, and but as Coach Salimo said, they are still kind of young and inexperienced at some positions. But I will say, as is kind of standard with Carrollton football, they got some big hosses on that offensive line, so it might be opening up a lot of holes for Olstrom and protecting Smith as he gets used to the offense.
All right, Shannon, you've got the final team for our preview show.
Yeah, the Strasburg Tigers. They went 1-8 last year under Curtis Metzger, but Mr. Metzger resigned last year, and so they'll be under first-year head coach Blake Campbell. It was a rough season for Strasburg last year. But they'll start the year off this year with the Rittman Indians. Then they'll travel to Waterloo Vikings, Caldwell Indians week 3, which they scored 40 points on the Caldwell Indians. So that's a good thing last year. They don't have Buckeye Trail, Conotton Valley, then the Garraway Pirates, Malvern Hornets, East Canton, New Cumberstown Trojans, and the TC Saints. It's going to be a tough learning year for them. They started the year off a little slow the offseason, didn't really have the numbers up, but they got the numbers up now, 24, 25 kids out. They got a kid coming in, a sophomore quarterback. They say he's really good. He can sling it. He can run it. 6'2", so he'll be able to grow with the program.
Yeah, Gage Moore.
Yeah, Gage Moore
looks really good, Shannon, in practice. Yep.
Then they got Matthew Cox, Drake Snyder back, Parker Edwards, Caden Thomas. So they're looking really good as for a young school. I mean, it's going to take a lot for Campbell to turn that program around. They only had 6 wins in the last 4 years. Somewhere along the line, you got to get more kids out. But when you come with a small school like that, it's kind of tough. When you're only graduating 40 boys a year, and you get half of them out for football, it's kind of tough.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
And we met Coach Campbell at the two-a-day segment. Great dude, man. He is so excited. He's amped up for this program. He's trying to get as many kids to participate in football as possible, and we wish him nothing but the best. Of course, like Shannon went over his schedule there, and we're hoping to get Coach Campbell on several times this year in our postgame show, and even see him on a Friday night sometime down the road here. But that's going to do it for our preview of our teams. And one final thing to talk about is our Big Z Sports schedule this year, and something we've finalized about 99.9% of the way. We're waiting on one other thing to happen, which I think is going to happen. I talked to our tactician extraordinary, Casey Claxon over there earlier, and he thinks that we can make it happen. So week 1, guys, we've never done games until like week 3, right? Week 4, week 3, somewhere around there. And we take a couple weeks off, and then about the end of the year, we start doing games every week. Well, little different for Big Z Sports this year. And, as much as I've been in the studio the last 8 years, you only see me week 1, guys. I'm sorry. You only get to see me week 1. I know you're happy about it. And, I know everybody's happy about that.
He's giving us the reins.
It's all yours. But week 1, guys, we start with Thursday night, Fairless at Sandy Valley. Going to be a fun game. Myself, Travis, and Shannon will be up there to do that game. We turn around Friday night, do our show just like normal. I'll be there for that.
Yep.
And then Saturday, Travis and I and maybe one other person will travel down to the river to the home of Joey Galloway for the Garraway Pirates in Bel Air. Big Red.
Yep.
And so we'll do that game to you. It's all going to be live streamed. All of our games will be live streamed, I think, except one or two.
Except for 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think 2, actually. Week
Something
3,
else we're kind of finalizing, working through.
So, we're trying to finalize that, but most of our games will be live streamed on the air, on 99.9, online as well. So week 2, we're going to be down at Newcomerstown. For Newcomerstown, Bellsville, that's going to be a lot of fun to do that game in week number 2. Week 3, we're going to be over at Crater Stadium for Dover and Indian Valley. Week 4, we're going to be up on the hill in Sugar Creek for the Carrollton Warriors and Garraway Pirates. Week 5, we're going to have Malvern at Ridgewood. Going to be a lot of fun to see that game as well.
Those 3, right? Bang,
you guys,
bang,
I was going to say, you're making me excited just listening to all this.
That is going to be 3 barn burners right off the rip.
It is for sure. Week 6, we got our Friday night show, and we're going to do the Caldwell Indians and Conotton Valley Rockets.
Nice.
So that's going to be a really fun game to do on Friday, September 23rd. On week number 7, we're going to be back on the hill for the Garraway Pirates and Indian Valley Braves. And week 8, Sandy Valley and Claymont. Week 9, we're going to do New Philadelphia and West Holmes. Will be in Millersburg for the first ever time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, folks, that I know for sure will be a radio game only out at West Holmes, so only on the radio.
And that could be the battle for the OCC's title.
It could.
And it could. And I just have to point out that after they were off the air, Coach Johnson and Coach Gardner were talking as I walked past them, and Coach Gardner turned around as Coach Johnson walked away and said, "Hey, can't wait to see you in week 9."
Yep.
So that's going to be fun.
But how cool is that those two stand there and talk for 20 minutes, and they're probably going to be deciding the OCC?
For sure.
Feelings might be different when you get to week 9.
Could be.
Sure.
Could be.
Saturday, October 15th, the Malvern Hornets and TCC Saints. That's going to be on a Saturday night over at Art Tyner Field. And, of course, Chris and Nick, or Shannon and Adam, somebody
we got to figure it out.
One of the crews will be on that game. And then week 10, of course, will be at Woody Hayes Quaker Stadium for Dover and New Philadelphia. So that's our schedule. And then we'll go into the playoffs.
Yep.
So that'll be a lot of fun. We'll get that later down the road when all those teams are decided.
We don't know who's playing.
Well, hopefully all of our area teams make it and make it a tough decision on us. That's what
that's the goal. That's
always the goal.
The first 2 weeks, everybody plays on Friday. After that, it goes to Friday, Saturday. So the first 2 weeks, we'll probably only have 1 game, maybe 2 if we can sneak one in. But after that, we'll have 2 games a week until it's over.
Another one of those things.
Hopefully the first weekend of December.
Another one of those things that the OHSAA messed up, So we'll.
They don't mess things up, do they?
They could have left everything Friday, Saturday. We could have got a lot more football games.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
Shannon, I'm sorry. We do not have the time to dive into that one.
Yeah, I know. But nonetheless, of course, the best play-by-play team in the area, I almost said Joe Thomas.
Joe Thomas, hey, I'm a Hall of Famer.
Best left tackle?
Joe Geckler, and, of course, Travis McClellan. RJ Jacobs going to do some sideline stuff for us. Shannon going to do some sideline stuff.
Yep.
And then, of course, myself, Nick, Adam, will be holding down the fort in the studio. So looking forward to year number 7 for me, year number 8 for you, year number 4. I don't know, what are you at?
I'll be 6. If
you're
7, I'm 6.
Yeah, you're 1 behind. And I'll tell you what, we have built a great team here at Big Z Sports. Everybody involved. I'm so proud to be a part of this team, and can't wait for year number 7.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for our Big Z Sports and Battle Motors preview show live from Sammy Sue's here in Dover. Big thanks to Sammy Sue's and Chris and Sammy. Sammy, get well soon. Keep battling, keep fighting. You're doing great, and we appreciate your sponsorship and your support of Big Z Sports year in and year out.
Almost 1 year cancer-free coming up on. Sam, congratulations, girl.
Absolutely. Big thanks to Alicia from Battle Motors to talk to us about what they do over there at Battle Motors. Check them out. If you're looking for a new career, new job, check them out at Battle Motors there on 250. Big thanks to all of our coaches that showed up tonight. Jason Wallach, Dirk Gad, John Slusser, Greg Dickerhoff, Mike Johnson, Don Hertler, Matt Turco and Zach Gardner, of course, and everybody here, Travis McClellan, Adam Soweski, Nick McWilliams, Shannon Thomas, my man Chris Kale, and myself, all the guys behind the scenes tonight. Casey Claxon, Greg Perkins behind the mic, our girl Lydia over there in the punching the buttons and making us look good, sound good. We appreciate everybody. Mary back in the studio. Thank you so much. We will see you on week 1. Thursday night, that's right, Thursday night, myself and Travis and Shannon will be up at Sandy Valley for Sandy Valley Fairless. Until then, we'll talk to you again down the road. Be checking out our social media pages for all of our two-a-day segments. Those are going to be following all the way up until game number 1 on Thursday the 18th. Thanks again for tuning in tonight, folks. Again, we will see you week 1 of the high school football season. So long, everybody.
Thank you.